You're listening to the Board Game Snobs podcast, a ridiculous podcast with ridiculous hosts that discuss ridiculous things. And any mention of board games is purely coincidental. And so, without further ado, and with a heavy dollop of shame and embarrassment on my part, I give you the Board Game Snobs.
Go.
Bubba, do the intro.
Oh, I didn't know I was doing it. Hey, this is the Board Game Snobs. Welcome. This is, we're joined by...
Me. Hello, I'm Gavin.
This is Jerry.
And this is Bubba the non-host coming to his annual visit.
The non-host.
The non-host.
I thought you said 9 holes.
No,
Nine holes. 9 holes, Bubba.
For his unofficial annual visit.
This is the Bubba Top 5.
He only plays the front 9.
That's
front
right.
9.
Welcome to the podcast.
This is our annual call-in episode. We're
It's
super
true.
excited. Actually, we're already excited because we're having to snip this intro in at the beginning because we already did the call-in.
You're so meta.
I'm so meta.
You're so meta.
But who called in?
That's
People
right.
that we know.
People. It's a good
Lovely
episode.
people.
It's a good episode.
Let's rank the people who called.
our top 10
Top 10
listeners were.
that were. I found that Colton. Yeah.
No, it was, this was a very nice show, a very nice episode. I think Ryan said we had 14 callers call in, an increase over last time. Last time we just went with a Google phone number in which people had to just call in and hope that we answered.
Now who's
yeah.
meta?
And, well, this is what Conan does on his show, so I figure it's okay.
Oh, Brian.
They've already recorded it. Then they kind of discuss it and talk about what to look forward to in the upcoming podcast.
yeah.
Oh,
Sure.
okay. I didn't know he did that.
Eventually, we're going to have
cool.
Bubba do his top 5.
Yeah, I'll do
We
it.
had to have enough.
But not in this episode.
Not in this
Not in
episode.
this
We are
episode.
tired. This was a
I'm
3-hour-long endeavor.
exhausted.
Yeah.
And then,
I haven't eaten this year.
It's the first time I've heard that joke.
This episode being
prelude.
recorded January 1, 2024.
Sometime,
Guys,
obviously.
how many episodes is this for you?
It's getting close to
This
300.
is-
285, 286.
We're in the 280s.
So I will tell you 300, you got to have a bang out show and then follow by
I
something.
know.
I
We're
don't
going
know.
to set something on
Yeah, I
fire.
got to do something live and do a show
Do
and do
something
a
live.
dinner and do it like an anniversary.
I don't know what else we can do.
Hey, this is a big deal, man. This is a
300
big deal.
episodes?
Oh, what
They're in
what are we
300.
gonna do?
300?
I think this is a pretty good one. And we
This was
the
pretty
4 of
awesome.
us and a call-in show.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
Let's make this one the honorary 300 episode.
Oh, honorary.
No.
Episode 300 will just be a normal show.
I think episode 300 needs to be something.
Something blow out for y'all. Something
Yes.
This
different.
year is going to set it up, and then you're setting these expectations.
No,
and
we
then,
just set it up. We set a date and we do it, whatever
Okay.
it is.
I think
Like
I
we
don't think
have
y'all
a-
failed.
Like we have a Bubba Top 5 on our 300,
Oh, that's pressure.
and we do and we can record it whenever. And we have Enrique do I don't know, review sandwiches or something. I don't know what he's going to do.
That's good, man. Hey, this is a big deal.
I'll
People
do what I
calling in
wish.
and
People
We'll
love
have
it's a big
on-
deal. Big deal.
Joe Rogan.
Joe.
Yeah. if you get him on,
I'll tell you, wouldn't that be super weird? Just have some random
Hey,
person.
we
Random
had
person.
freaking
Jeff Foxworthy.
Jeff Foxworthy.
Jeff
It was
Foxworthy.
like, why?
Wow.
How?
I don't know.
That was the most random
That was
event.
very
and,
random
like,
of all time.
we get an email. Would you like to? What?
What?
Why? Who?
Because it's Jeff, it's my cousin.
So strange.
I wonder if we did this thing. You know how celebrities will do this thing. So and so asked Britney Spears to the prom, and
Yeah.
she
And they
said
came.
yes, and they came. That's what we need to do. We just need to
Happen.
start emailing
Real
people.
people.
Who would be your ideal
I
podcast
tell you
guest?
right now.
Danny DeVito.
Close. The first name that popped into my mind. I like the fact that
Yeah.
you just said Danny DeVito that quickly. Mine would be Nicolas Cage.
Oh, okay.
I would have Nicolas that because
He'd be the
it doesn't matter what you ask him, he's gonna say something.
Yeah.
That's who Enrique. If you had to interview one famous person,
Ooh.
And it has to be a famous person,
Famous person?
not an anime character that doesn't exist.
I will add a guy.
Go ahead, Bubba.
Why you think?
He's thinking.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Woody Allen. Because here's why I say
Didn't he get in trouble?
Not Woody Allen.
He got in trouble.
What a minute. Is it Woody Allen or
He's
is
canceled.
it? No, it's the guy. It's the other thing. The dude with the head.
Charlie
the
Chapman.
Woody
Chapman's
Harrelson?
Woody Harrelson. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's like,
Yeah, I had to correct it real quick.
it really got me the Woody Allen.
It got me. Woody Harrelson. Man, the
Woody
reason why I always get them confused.
Woody
And the reason why it's like that dude is super
Yes.
interesting.
I would. Yes,
He
his dad was a
does not-
hitman.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't do phones. He doesn't do any of that. He's super healthy. I mean, it's a
He's
lot of
bald.
things. He's a raw vegan. I did not know that.
What's a raw vegan?
raw vegan? That's
They
a
don't-
whole
They
different.
don't cook or steam anything.
raw
They just eat it raw.
Wow. So you're even anti-heat.
I mean, he would be an interesting guy. He can play anything, do anything. Be a nice guy.
Okay.
Done.
I would approve.
Will Smith. So there you go.
No, I'm not having Will Smith on there.
No,
I'm
no.
not having him on there.
He lost my respect.
He
Lost your
slapped me.
respect.
He can't control his emotions.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Bobby, who would you
I
have?
don't respect anyone that can't control their emotions.
Who would you have on?
I like Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, that's cool.
That would be another one.
That's cool.
That would be
I would
another
have him
cool
do
person.
every single thing from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Must go faster.
All right.
Ad lib the whole show.
All right. Well,
What do you have?
We haven't
Rico?
heard from Enrique.
oh, okay.
Even though he's dead, even though he's dead, it would be Heath Ledger.
It does make it more difficult.
He said, even though it's dead, he started out like that's a small thing. Even though he's dead.
Okay, go ahead.
It would have been Heath Ledger
Okay, the Joker guy.
or
Is he dead?
Are you basing that just simply
he was
on the
the
fact
Joker.
that he was the Joker? Or
Yeah,
did anything else
basically.
in his life interest you?
He just thought he was a Joker.
He had really some good
10 things I hate about you. Did you see that?
He didn't invent the Heath bar.
He went back in time. Did he go back in time?
Yeah, briefly.
or I would have.
The jousting movie? Are you talking about the
Yeah,
jousting
No,
movie?
no, the Golden Parnassus.
I crossed.
No, he did that. He did that last film that he died in. He died before he got it shot, and they had to have Johnny Depp and a bunch of people playing it that nobody watched.
I don't know. I
Well,
don't know.
you're used to be. Oh, I watch movies. Go ahead. I'm sorry, that was very rude.
But yet you
That
can't tell me what you're
it's
talking
Golden
about.
Parnassus. Golden Parnassus is actually the place that I spent my
Why?
honeymoon.
Why?
Goose, excuse me. Go ahead.
I'm
Go
trying
ahead.
to remember another person. He played in Castle. He plays in the Rookie.
Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, Nathan
Nathan
Fillion.
Fillion.
That was I okay, yes.
The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, which you
Did
have.
he go back in time?
And no, yes, it's
Heath
Heath Ledger, Colin Farrell, Johnny Depp, Jude Law, Christopher Plummer. The
Never
Imaginarium
tried to finish it out.
is the film follows a traveling theater group whose leader, having made a bet with the devil, takes audience members through a magical mirror to explore their imaginations, present them with self-fulfilling enlightenment and gravity.
Okay, so we went through
yeah, so
Okay.
some weird thing.
Yeah.
But
Gotcha.
time, whatever, mirrors,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But
I
there you
mixed
go.
timeline up with the other.
I don't know what a Parnassus is.
Yeah.
But I stayed. That was where I stayed at when I was on my honeymoon. Was at the Golden Parnassus.
That's who
Parnassus.
John F. Kennedy was married to, Jackie Parnassus.
Yeah, she's
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I did not know
she
that.
didn't have his back.
She had his side though.
Listen, don't cut anything I've said. Don't cut anything
She
I've
did have his
said.
side. In
Kennedy
his head.
jokes real okay.
Kennedy jokes are fine.
Kennedy jokes are horrible. Horrible. Not right.
Okay.
National
Well,
treasure.
All right.
this episode, just to since this is the
Besides, oh yeah,
this is going to be somewhat chaotic, and we have
It's not chaotic.
We have 4 people talking, and then the listener or the call in, and then on some of the call ins,
hit some sound
there was
issues.
one. There was some sound issues.
That's
Where
okay.
There was a little bit of echo, but that gets fixed. And then on another one, there was a strange hissing. Poor Dave Allen. The strange hissing came in. I don't know
I
where
think
that
he
comes
just
from.
hissed.
Not his fault. Not his fault.
He might have a snake.
He went into cat mode.
It's like on Robin Hood. Hiss.
But overall, it went very, very nicely, at least for us.
I enjoyed it
And
thoroughly.
I'm sure, I don't know that any rando person listening to the show for the first time would enjoy listeners calling in.
But this could be you.
You never know. Yeah.
You set your clocks ahead of time.
There you go.
You could come on here and ask questions
That's
to
right.
and bunch of middle-aged
And I
men.
think maybe we should make this like January 1st is just our call in episode.
Start calling them. We should just do it at random.
Or do it at random.
I think we should just call our listeners at random. just email us your phone number,
There you
and
go.
we'll just call you
in the
while
middle
we're
of the day.
recording. You're in the middle of your day. Say,
Hey, so what are you doing?
what are you doing? Just who is this? That's Gavin. Just
All
start
right.
talking.
I'm extremely hungry. So
All right.
that's going to do it for. No, wait.
This is the intro.
Good luck. No, wait.
This is the,
I don't know how to intro.
good luck and good night.
So enjoy the show.
Enjoy
Yes.
the show.
Enrique,
Enjoy
Yes,
this. It's as,
enjoy the show.
okay.
Have fun. Thank you so much.
the first time you've ever finished a sentence.
I know.
So we have Richard Payne. Richard, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going quite well so far on our first caller. Let's start the timer. Look at you, prompt 11:59 and 8 seconds. That's good.
And
Do you have any immediate questions, comments, concerns, haikus you would like to express?
Happy New Year. How about that?
It is. This is 2024.
It
We've
is
made it
indeed.
into the new year.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, it is.
it is.
isn't
Yeah, look at that.
I have no goals or aspirations this year.
Just
Wait,
live.
what are
And I do
goals?
not serve the Roman god Janus. Or is it Janus?
Janus.
Yanis.
So you don't celebrate that, Gavin.
Janus, the two-faced god.
I kept saying Janus, and DJ was saying, is his first name Hugh?
Oh, that's the way to start off the year with a good sphincter joke.
Yeah.
So, Dick, how's it been going?
Oh, it's been going okay. I've barely played any games at all the past year.
Mm.
I think I listed like 40 or something plays all year. But,
That is
other than that,
That is
It's been
unfortunate. Out of what you've played, is there anything decent? What is the best?
I don't know. Just most of the old familiars, viticulture. I recently learned Raiders of the North Sea because I got it super cheap, and it was okay.
It's okay. Indeed. It's overrated in my book. They did that reprint with what's the other game that you had with the Raiders of the Lost Sea reprint? I can't think of it.
Scythia?
Scythia, yeah. Yeah, we sold Raiders and kept Scythia. It's all the same. It's all the same. It's just moving
Yeah.
stuff around.
Richard,
Pillaging.
where do you hail from? I notice a slight drawl to your voice.
Mississippi.
Ooh,
Wow.
From
we're
little
we're
tiny
in-
town right near Tupelo, Mississippi.
There you
where-
go.
The birthplace of Elvis.
Bubba just went on high alert.
But was like Tupelo.
No, I just wanted to know where from.
Where
Mississippi.
from where do you hail?
Mississippians are unique.
Birthplace of
It
Elvis.
is.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the Elvis movie yet. The one with the fat Tom Hanks. Fat
Hey, I
Hanks.
haven't either.
I keep seeing that keeps showing up on my YouTube shorts. That guy that plays Elvis, that Austin guy, whatever his name is,
Mhm.
he is very, what's the term?
Attractive?
It's weird. It's very weird to look at him because he looks like Elvis to an extent that is
I really liked the movie,
disturbing.
despite Tom Hanks' weird portrayal.
But is Tom being weird?
No, he just had a weird accent.
I heard he had a really strange accent. Yeah.
Mississippi, Georgia, all that, those are difficult accents to do. They're not,
But Richard's doing quite well.
well,
Not if you're born there.
you have to be there, but
Yeah,
you
I've had
can't.
a lot of practice. Yeah.
It's like the governor type, Louisiana thing. It's not the same. It's more of a, when you get between Louisiana and Florida, that area there is kind of a
Weird.
mixture of swamp people and mountain people and coastal. It's all of it.
French.
Yes, it's very interesting. Like, I watched a YouTube video just the other day about Creole and what's the other term for Louisianans, the Creole and
Cajun.
and the difference between that. So basically, like all the French that were like in Nova Scotia, and they just came down they got ran off, and they came down, and there was a difference, and it was being very specific between Cajun and Creole, which has nothing to do with Mississippi, which I cannot spell.
I always find it funny that Elvis was born in Tupelo, right?
Yeah.
And then y'all have the memorial, which I've been to, by the way, in Tupelo.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I know where it is. But
It's right after 1 Palo and before 3 Palo.
there you go. But everything else is in Graceland, which is in Tennessee, right?
Yeah. It's Memphis. It's a 2-hour drive north.
Yeah. So why didn't?
I think he moved there when he was really young.
Yeah, Elvis should have came home.
What killed Elvis? Didn't he die on the
It
toilet?
was drugs.
False.
Yeah.
False.
Yeah, barbiturates, as far as I know.
I think technically they labeled it very carefully as being just heart disease, but I'm pretty sure it was the barbiturates that got him. Barbitol was back
According to according to the movie, he was on drugs, drinking, partying too hard.
He's very constipated.
Peanut butter and bacon sandwiches.
And he got fat at some point, which I recently watched videos of that just because I did not get to. I'm not a huge Elvis fan.
Yeah, I'm not either.
But one of his songs that has been redone is like one of my top 10 songs of all time by a country singer named Billy Swan, Don't Be Cruel. It is one of the most beautiful songs sung by this country singer from back in the 70s. Yes, but he sings it country and he swings it slower. And it's completely different. Like you will almost not realize that's that song.
Okay, real quick. We're railroading Richard.
Yep.
Let's Richard talk.
That's a pain.
Richard, what was the last game you played, if you can remember?
I just played Isle of Cats with my wife. We just learned that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of cat games. That's not a bad game. It's another one of those games that I feel like was overhyped because of the theme of cats. People love cats.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
That's why she played it.
Right.
Did you like it?
It was okay.
It's cat Tetris.
Yeah, it's cat Tetris.
You're putting cats on a boat, which is not.
I'm bad at that type of thing. So,
cat
but it was
Tetris.
fun.
Yeah, the cats are all laid out weird, and you're just placing them on a boat, trying to save as many cat things.
Oh, okay.
It's cat Tetris,
I enjoyed Junk Drawer.
which is Tetris.
I haven't played Junk Drawer.
It's 25th century games.
It's Isle of Cats, but faster
With junk.
and streamlined.
and more slightly different rules. Any of those Tetranimino games, whatever you call them, are all just Tetris with some rules. But I thoroughly enjoyed that World Wonders game that we played at BGG. You may have heard us talked about. That's a new game that's coming out that kind of does the whole Tetris thing, but with the neat 3D buildings. And it to me that's my favorite so far. Yeah. I like World Wonders, then followed by Junk Drawer, then followed by everything else. And so far, it's those Tetris games are just a dime a dozen. My City was good. Play that with your wife. If you want a good Reiner Knizia game that's a legacy game, that My City, I haven't played My Island, but My City, my wife really loved that. It's a legacy game.
Yeah, I've heard some good things about My City.
And my wife,
My City, my wife. That should be the next.
That should have been the
installment.
I should make a game. If here's an idea for all you designers out there, make a game that's just called My Wife, and it's just a game that's designed to be played with your wife. Like if she's not
like a Five Eyes and Wife.
My Wife.
Classic. Richard, do you have any goals or aspirations for the future in life in general?
Deep.
And just keep moving onwards and upwards, I suppose.
Do you have family?
I'm still working on my weight loss thing, which I haven't texted you about in quite a while.
We're not talking about that.
Gavin's working on his weight loss thing too. You've quite successful so far.
Oh yeah.
Yes, you've
good. Congratulations.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
New year, new me. Do you even recognize me right now?
You're growing a beard well, and not well, but as well, because it's gray.
As of this recording, I mean, it's going to come out much later, but it's 12 o'clock noonish on January 1. I haven't eaten all year. All right. All right. Well,
I can't muster it. I'm sorry. I tried. I really tried.
It was an admirable attempt.
Okay.
I admire you.
Do you have family, Richard?
He's a wife.
I do. I have 3 kids,
Mm.
10 and 12.
What? That's not what? What are you? That's not appropriate response, Gabby.
What, like I'm going to put them in a bowl of soup or something?
Put some salt in it.
Weirdness.
Okay, all right.
3 kids.
I can't relate. Jerry, speak.
I have kids. Yes. What, if you've procreated, now you may talk. Is that the thing? It's like, this is only for people who understand the crushing stress of having children. Yes, your oldest is 12.
Yeah.
My oldest is 12 as well, and that is a scary age.
Yeah.
That is,
Yeah.
they're almost teenagers.
Is it the terrible 12s?
It's the I'm almost terribly hormonal, and I can wreck your life
That's scary.
age.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's scary. It's very scary, and you reap everything for which you have sown, and then some. So yeah, my heart goes out to anybody with children of that age because it's terrible.
You make me feel good that I
Richard's,
don't have them.
I've asked Ryan if anyone else is in queue because I said 5 minutes and Richard has gotten his 5.
No, Richard can stay as
But
long as he wants.
But if there's no one else in
Oh,
queue,
thank you, Jerry.
As
you
a
can
fellow Southerner,
you can
He can
stay.
stay
Well,
as long as-
I say
I
that.
say,
Uh-oh.
stop that, Enrique.
You guys are now live with Jerry.
I recognize. Maybe that's Ryan causing the feedback.
We don't mind.
Hey, Gabby, I think we've been some BGA games together.
Who's
That is
this?
correct.
This is Jerry.
Jerry.
Yeah, I stole your name.
There's 2
I'm
Jerrys.
offended. There's 2 Jerrys.
Jerry who?
Jerry Huang from.
Oh,
We know this guy.
Yeah.
We know this guy.
Enrique popped up.
We know this guy. Enrique was super excited for some reason.
Enrique, I gotta ask you, have you ever listened to the outro of the show?
He has never listened to not 1 second
Not yet.
of this podcast, and we're
I
feedbacking
don't
a lot.
listen to my own
Yeah.
greatness.
You don't listen to your own greatness. Plus, you don't listen to podcasts. You've never listened to a podcast.
No, not really. No.
No, he's never listened to a podcast.
Jerry, I don't suppose you happen to have some earphones, do you?
Oh, is it
We're getting the echo.
making funny echoes?
Something's
Yes, sir.
wrong.
Oh, something's
That's
wrong.
not right.
I'm
That is-
sure.
that is-
He's
right.
never heard that before.
Well,
That's not right.
Look who's talking. I haven't ate all year.
Look,
That's a great joke. Any joke that's a pun that has to do with your name is
Yes.
great.
So when I was in high school, my sister and I, we were in the same math class, and the teacher said, "I'm going to sit the 2 of you next to Mr. Colin Wright." So we got 2 Wongs make a right.
Oh, that's the making of a school shooter.
That's right. That's okay. We call that a civil lawsuit.
Just right there. You can't do that. You can't do that. What game did we play at BGG?
Oh, I wasn't at a BGG, but I was
BGA.
at Dice Tower West.
Dice Tower West.
so how do you know this guy, Enrique?
Yeah.
Enrique just knows people. He
I
just
know.
acts like he knows everybody.
I have to.
He has to. Enrique weirded out about that. He knows people.
Oh, yes, the echo is gone. Thank you, sir.
Either all
Is
right.
that better? I'm using
Yeah.
some earphones.
Other Jerry, do you have any questions for us? First of all,
Yeah, I'm gonna throw out some things, and you guys can talk about whichever one you. Number 1, BGA tournament. Number 2, Jerry, how you liking the hoodies? Number 3,
Wait a minute.
I just
Hoodie.
played World Wonders,
Hoodie.
Ark Nova, The Godfather, Blood Rage. So whatever topic you guys want to do, I just had those things on my queue of.
okay, so recently with hoodies, because I've never had a hoodie until recently. I have never worn a
know.
hoodie like this past year was my first, and
I
it was
wore this for you right here.
it drove it got me kind of messed up because they bought me a hoodie for work and it had the company logo, and I'm like, I'm not wearing this. This is not my thing. Like, this is not appropriate. What do I do with it? Do you wear clothes underneath it? Like, I had no idea what you do with a hoodie. But I made the mistake of one day getting called out during a weekend when I hadn't done laundry yet, and I was forced to wear said hoodie, and that wrecked me because I realized why now people wear them, because they're immensely comfortable and they have utility.
Yep.
There's just a lot about them, and you have an air of
They're professional pajamas.
Yes, which I don't like. I am anti, but if I see somebody wearing pajamas out in public, I am in a rage.
Okay, I'm glad you clarified that very specific. Because I'm like, you can't be anti-pajama just in general.
No, not in general.
No, just out.
No.
Out and about.
Well, I'm not anti-pajama, but I am very much. I don't like pajamas as much as the rest of the world. I am a in the nude person. I don't do pajamas.
But not walking around your home.
Yes.
Not in front of your family.
Yes.
CPS is on their way.
It doesn't matter. I am anti. I understand the necessity for pajamas and to be comfortable, but either way, I digress. Back to the hoodie.
My boss. I'm a teacher, and my boss, of course, is a principal, and she actually wears hoodies with a blazer when we go out. Represent the school. So try that one.
You wear the blazer over the hoodie?
I know. Like
a coat?
It's like, man.
Like a blazer over the hoodie?
And that could be clean. It depends on how you
suit jacket.
do it.
That's what
like
a blazer
jacket,
is, right?
Like a suit jacket?
Yeah.
Yeah, some people can do it and be nice.
It's like I'm
cool.
I'm casually business.
That's like two pieces of outerwear.
Yeah, but they do it. It's hot.
It's hot?
It's
Hot?
No, it's hot. Like
Oh,
hot.
I thought you like Paris Hilton. It's hot.
Yeah, it's hot.
What do you teach and what grade?
I teach game design, programming, coding, and math.
So you're like one of the cool teachers.
Teachers should be applauded.
Yes, I do.
I think teachers are kind of overrated.
Insert applause here.
Insert applause here. But you have to say teachers are heroes, which they kind of are. If you've ever tried to teach somebody something, I've been trying to teach Enrique something for years.
I mean, in this climate, they have to be also in real life, unfortunately.
I mean, they go through a lot.
We've been watching the Columbine documentary. It's quite depressing.
Why are you watching such depressing stuff?
My wife watches them.
My wife?
My wife.
Yeah, and we're watching that.
Do y'all have actions to take for emergencies in case terrible things happen?
Boy, you went dark really fast, Gabi.
I'm sure it's on his mind.
It is. I bet Jerry's really worried about this.
Well, there's stuff going on. But hey, can we talk board games maybe? I just played World Wonder. Have you guys played that?
Good job, sir.
See,
Good job.
See.
Okay,
Listen.
we're going to keep it light.
Good job.
Okay.
Yeah,
sir.
thanks a lot.
Sorry.
Yeah, who would have thought, Gabi? Read the room. Good night. Have a caller come in. So what's your thought? Yeah,
What's your thoughts
I'm
on
sorry,
depression?
Jerry. I'm sorry, other Jerry. And Gabi doesn't have any clue about what he's teaching.
All right, Jerry, what's the last game not you, Jerry. Jerry, what's the last game you played, Jerry? Jerry, don't say nothing.
Yeah,
Jerry, what's the last game you played, Jerry?
Oh, I just played World Wonders. I got my copy open for Christmas.
Good game,
and,
good game.
There were 2 missing components, but we're still able to play it, and it was surprisingly, excellently good.
Excellently good.
That's a teacher talking.
I think that's exactly what I said. It was excellently good.
It is.
Because it was way better. I just said it's like my favorite tetranominino.
Polyomino, I think, is what they mostly say.
I don't know what it identifies as.
World Wonders, that's a good one. What's your favorite game, Jerry H?
Get a list.
Oh man, probably Ark Nova. My wife and I, we played it about 40 times.
Which is basically improved Terraforming Mars, which I approve of. I'm not a Terraforming Mars fan, and Ark Nova to me was I understand why people enjoy it more. And I think that it is a superior game, although the scoring mechanism kind of blows my mind a little bit. The whole whatever that thing was. I can't even remember that weird scoring track thing. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
We also just played Francis Drake. That's kind of the old one. And then
one of the few games I regret selling.
Jerry, where do you hail from?
I grew up in Dallas, and I live in California now.
That explains.
Oh, really?
So you did the reverse. You went to California. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful area.
We're in California.
Yeah, I live in Sacramento.
What's your address?
What school do you? I swear, Jerry, this is why we always have to edit him out.
Okay. I know Jerry come at us like with some things he wanted to know right off the bat, but I was doing other stuff. Have we answered all your questions? Any
Just
of your
the hoodie
questions?
thing.
No,
I
just
attacked
the
the hoodie
hoodie
thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was something else you want us to answer?
Oh, I just I want to thank you guys for doing a fun job with this thing called podcasting. So nothing much. I just want to chat with you guys. That's all.
Oh, well, very nice. I appreciate that.
He didn't care about this. He just wanted to see us.
Well, I'm sorry.
He wanted to be with us.
You know what? I do have a question.
There we go.
Are you guys going to be at a convention coming up?
We keep doing BGG, and I think we're probably going to do BGG Spring. At some point in time, I'm going to convince Gabi to take a Xanax and get on a plane and go to some sort of Dice Tower event.
Dice Tower West.
Or
just
my choice. Yes, just to go to a Dice Tower event so we can be around the people that are on the Dice Tower, because we will never get anywhere if we do not hobnob with
out with Mike,
the other board game hobnobbers.
It's true.
I would love to go to BGG, but it's during the school year. As a teacher, that ain't going to work.
These you don't get off for Thanksgiving? And the spring is in May.
But it's the week before Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's right. Mm-hmm. But the one in May, end of May, y'all probably get to California. Y'all probably go to June.
End of May is finals week.
That's right. I homeschool my kids.
Yeah, like college.
Not because I don't trust teachers. But we don't really have any schools here in Oklahoma. We got like 3 schools, and they just teach them how to milk cows. So it's like, yeah, you gotta. I want my kids to know math, and
all the field trips are to the Tiger King.
The Tiger King place. Here, kids, this is a bangle.
Oh, yeah.
You'll never recover financially from this. Oh, yeah, this is a Tiger King.
He said he did board game design, right?
Yes, I'm interested in that.
Yeah.
When you say game design, have you designed something?
Well, I teach concepts of game design in general, and then it's a coding class too. So students get to make a prototype on paper, and then they actually can program it as a video game too.
So I want to know what.
And then you take them and claim them as your own.
That's called infringement. What are the concepts? So all right. I know when you talk about concepts, I know there's got to be like principles of game design, things that you should not violate. Right? Am I on the right track? Is this a thing? Have I just made this up in my mind? I feel like I'm making stuff up.
Most likely.
Okay. Give me the main idea of the concepts of game design. What is something that is objectively bad or something that is objectively good?
Well, let's just start. The main concept of game design that like all these new professor people write about is called core aesthetics. So instead of making a game, starting with the mechanics like first person shooter or like RPG, you start with what emotion are you trying to elicit. So if you look up core aesthetics of game design on the internet, you'll find a list of about 8 or 9 of them, and there are things like challenge and abnegation and competition or fellowship and things like that.
I already love this. So like I thought core mechanics was just having abs. So in terms of, you probably play a lot of video games, right? I have to assume this.
Core aesthetics.
So
core aesthetics.
So you play a lot of video games, I'm assuming.
Put in the chat.
Right?
I used to. I have all board gaming nowadays, as you might have
all
guessed,
board gaming.
I used to play a lot.
So the same concept, I'm assuming, for game design crosses over from video games.
Any game. Yeah, you put your audience in mind. Like, what do you want them to feel? Do you want them to feel scared? That's called sensory pleasure, the technical name.
Sensory
pleasure. If you
want
them to have a sense of fighting someone else, challenge and competition. If you want them to go on an adventure, exploration, So when you build a game, the best example they always say is the difference between Call of Duty and Portal. They're both first-person shooters, but one's a totally different other field than the other.
Right.
That's the example people give.
So the first thing that you do in when you're designing a game is determine what this core aesthetic is going to be, what the feeling that you want to project onto the audience.
Exactly.
That's an interesting concept, because typically when you hear people interview, I'm thinking like Dick Simpsons or people of that nature that interview a lot of board game designers in the past, they'll often bring up that, do you think of the theme or do you think of the mechanics? And I think that this idea of core aesthetics, that covers both of those. It's do you want there to be a challenge that can come through via the theme and the mechanics, or the mechanics. So it's not necessarily which one comes first, chicken or the egg type thing. It's really what is the overall feeling you want to project onto your onto the audience. I think that's interesting.
Well, I think that's why Space Biff does real good at his criticisms, critiques, whatever you want to call it, reviews, is because he often addresses, what does this game make you feel? And that's an interesting question to ask a designer. Like, was there a certain feeling you wanted to project in your design of this game?
Is there a certain board game that stands out to you right now that has a core aesthetic that you find quite interesting?
Yeah, I mean, it's not one of your guys' favorites. One of mine is Blood Rage. You have this strong sense of, interactive competition that you just can't get away from. Like, you just can't, like Francis Drake too. Like Francis Drake, like you are just playing the other players as much as you're trying to build a strategy. I got to collect this and this and this, but you want to go there first, but I want to go there, like you have the strong sense of like, you're competing for things, right? Competition. I sent a little link there. I just searched on the internet. It's like MDA, mechanics, dynamics, aesthetics. So let's see. The list is narrative, like telling a good story. So that would be like a good storytelling game, like what any Ryan Lockett campaign game.
He does a good job.
Tell a good story.
He does an excellent job.
Sorry, Ryan says we have 6 people in queue and we're going on 15 minutes with Jerry.
Jerry, wrong. Listen, you're going to have to.
Yes.
You're going to have to come on the show at some point in time. Send us an email. We need to have you on the show because I'd like to do just an episode discussing.
Good times.
Yes, because this is a thing.
Like, continue being professional level comedians, and I'll keep listening.
We will. We appreciate you, other Jerry.
See you later, man.
Okay,
Righty.
Ryan.
Happy New Year.
Bye, Jerry.
Bye.
All right, very good. You have Timothy Ballard, who is not on Discord, so pump that if you want to. He is coming on now. Let me move him in.
That's nice. That's Buffalo Trace.
Timothy Ballard.
Hey, Timothy, you there?
I know Tim Ballard.
Join him. He's got
Do I know Tim Ballard?
Hey, Tim, are you there?
Hey, I am.
Tim Ballard. That name
All right,
sounds
you are
familiar.
live with the Snobs.
Welcome, Timothy
Excellent.
Ballard.
Okay, excellent. I've got my entire family here. My kids absolutely love listening to you guys.
What are your kids'
They've
names?
been dying. Jake and David.
Oh, that's good names. All right, Jake, you said? Like Big Jake?
Jade.
Jade, like the green rock.
Yeah.
And David. Those are strong names.
How old?
Almost 13 and almost 12.
We were just talking about how awful that age is, and how that you have to you reap what you sow there at that particular age.
For the parents, not necessarily for the children.
And the children. This is the time period in your life where the kids decide whether they have cool parents or boring
not cool
parents.
parents.
That's what it is. If you can win that, you can win that threshold.
Jade, what's your opinion of Timothy so far?
Dad.
He's just hilarious. Love him so.
He's telling them to say that. I can
Say that
now.
Money is being flashed.
Outstanding. Enrique, the kids still use that "I love you, Tim Bowers" on me constantly.
I forgot that you said that at some point in time.
Oh, wait. Timothy Bowers. He's got Ballard on here.
That's all right. The Ballard of
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So we do know Timothy.
I know Tim. I knew Tim.
Well,
he's not that.
Our producer put the wrong name on the screen. Just saying.
Wow. So
I'm like, who is this
You're
person?
doing a Will Wheaton and calling out the producer.
Who is this guy? Okay. Well, Tim and Jade and David.
Yes.
Any questions, comments, criticisms for any of us?
Mainly
Enrique's
Enrique.
here. Bubba's here.
Ask Enrique a question.
Why are we asking me questions?
Why is his mic off?
Put your. It's not. He just needs to get right up on. Get right up on it.
Like,
Yeah, there you go.
man, this is really close.
Do you love Tim Bowers?
Who's Tim Ballard?
It's fleeting. He's like, who's Tim Bowers? Oh, it's terrible.
I think the kids.
What
have
have
a
the kids
question.
been? What do you play with your children?
Well, my daughter, she really enjoys King Domino and the Quacks of Quedlinburg.
I want to play Quacks at Quedlinburg.
the only two I ever like.
I want to play Quacks at Quedlinburg. I haven't. I have played Queen Domino, which was not as good as King Domino in my opinion. But that's a very.
I agree.
Yeah, I just not that I'm misogynistic or anything, but the Queen Domino just didn't hit me right.
The Queen is gone.
The King was much better.
It's more apropos. It's the King.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
R.I.P.
it was right. It was R.I.P. Have you ever tried that? What is that? Tiny Towns. That's another good one if you like. I don't want to say simplistic, but little cube pushing little building things. That's another good one I found really nice for families.
We have that one. She hasn't tried playing that one yet. We honestly forget about it sometimes.
I do too.
I don't like board, so I exclude myself.
You don't like board games?
Not really, but I love y'all's podcast.
Well, that's good. We don't like board games either. What do you like about our podcast?
Y'all are funny, and y'all
argue constantly and funny. That
I think she pretty much got it.
Yes, she got it. Feels it.
She's got it down pat.
Yeah,
right
that is the
That's
essence
basically our profile
of what we are. We're trying to argue less, but unfortunately, I have to resist the urge to point out how wrong everybody is, and that's
hard for you.
I'm getting there,
and I'm resisting the urge to respond in just complete rage to everything Jerry says.
But apparently, there are some that enjoy that. We need to just have one episode a month.
A rage.
We just rage it out,
episode.
say everything.
That would be good.
It's just the
let it all out.
Everything we had to edit out of the podcast.
The airing of grievances.
Yes, called Let It Hang.
Jade's over here just freaking out laughing because she loves that idea so much.
Air your grievances out. What we could do, what we need to have is this: all that listeners email in their grievances. Doesn't have to do with anything about anything. Just what do you not like? We'll air their grievances out while we do ours at the same time.
Jade, David, quick question. Let's see. I'm sure we've got others in the queue. Jade, what is your favorite movie?
That's an impossible question.
Oh,
but
false.
Mission Impossible.
False.
Is it Mission Impossible? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, David, do you have a favorite movie?
He expected y'all to ask him about his favorite board game.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't do that here.
We hate board games.
This is a board game podcast.
And she says the opposite. That's great.
Okay, so what is your favorite board game?
Go
David?
ahead with your favorite game, David and Jade.
I just heard someone scream my name.
That was Judd Hirsch from Independence Day.
And like right off the top of my head is probably like the Monster Hunter game off of Kickstarter.
Ooh.
Monster Hunter World.
Yes, Monster Hunter is for people who like to grind. A lot of that's what
a lot of grinding.
A lot of grinding. They have a board game of Monster Hunter, which we've not.
They need to make a new phrase for that.
What?
Well, yeah. Well, but it existed.
I got you.
All right, so Monster Hunter and who else? What else?
Quack.
Quacks.
Okay, Quack to Quedlinburg.
Okay. All right. Well, it's been very nice to speak to y'all. Any last comments before we let you go?
More banter sandwiches.
More
Well,
banter
guys,
sandwiches.
I just want to say thank y'all
More
for
banter sandwiches.
youngins today.
I like banter
No
sandwiches.
problem. Thanks for coming on, Timothy Ballard.
Have a good one, sir.
What is your favorite sandwich, Enrique?
Yeah, you know, I completely saved all those kids.
I heard Ballard.
No, Tim Ballard was the guy who saved all the kids from the human trafficking ring.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
Is that
did.
the Cry of Freedom movie or whatever?
Yeah. Then he was saving kids from trafficking.
Yeah.
All right. And thanks for coming on. Goodbye.
Have a good one.
Who wants to, I mean, kids are rough enough as it is. Who wants to, I mean, come on. Timothy Ballard.
That's good.
Bowers.
I know who it is.
That's Chiasson's friend.
Yes. We've played Crescent City Croissant.
And his wife, Betsy?
Betsy. Who got, she put me in my place while I was upset about a game of Crescent City Cargo.
All right. Next we have...
Yeah, Michael Vannoy coming in.
Michael Vannoy.
Well, Michael Vannoy, the one that asked us, okay, you haven't heard it yet, but you will have by the time this comes out. So it's more time.
Assume that you've been answered.
Yeah, your question about the villain or the hero question. We spent half our podcast, as you have already heard, answering that question.
So know that we answer your emails and your thoughts.
No, Michael Vannoy, you are muted for some reason.
And your prayers.
There we go.
There you go.
All right. Yeah. So I suppose I remember that happening.
Yes. Thank you very much. All right, Michael, any questions, comments, concerns you would like to ask Enrique, Bubba, Jerry, or the conglomerate thereof, the Board Game Snobs?
I've got a couple. First, I'm just going to say it. We need a new Bubba Top 5. It needs to be.
That may be the next
Keep it in mind.
episode.
I'll
Is
keep
the
it in mind,
Bubba
so
Top 5.
Keep it in mind.
Yes, we do.
Okay. And then, okay, so we've got Bubba there.
Yes.
And we've got Enrique.
Yes.
Hello.
This would only be better if we had Deej and Sade.
I'm afraid that would cause a problem. That would cause and that we would implode if we ever tried to do.
Michael was the one loyal listener we had on Disagreeable Nerd. He was all about it.
Sade is actually just a few feet away in her pajamas reading right now, but she refuses to do a podcast anymore. She says she has retired. And retired on top, apparently, which I have shamed her into. I mean, her opinions on movies and such were awful, absolutely awful. But still, people liked her. Oh, do you want more of this?
Yes, when I put my cup out there, you don't
okay,
retract.
fine. There's your Buffalo Trace. I can't reach it. All right, Michael. Anything else that you'd like to question us regarding?
Not really.
Before we start questioning you,
just a hello, and you love us.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just a loyal listener through all the podcasts, even the ones that don't exist, like this Order of Chaos. Where's this Order of Chaos at?
Yes, I actually like the idea of Order of Chaos.
You have to take that up with Sir Delizio, Michael, and Daniel, because it was going to be revived. They had me on for several episodes, and then, well, just as they're very sporadic over there, they can't seem to get their stuff together. Even for episode 100, they felt too much pressure.
Yeah, we were episode 100, and they wouldn't admit it. I think that we should probably end up doing our Only Funds podcast and just making it a complete revamp of the Order of Chaos. That was a great idea by Mr. Dan Hughes, which I would never tell him to his face. But yeah.
I mean, it's out there in the public now. People take ideas all day long.
Yes, plagiarism.
Done.
I had a great idea the other day.
You know what? I'm doing it.
Plagiarism.
I'm fixing to pull up 3 random things right now.
There you go. And we'll rank them. Hang on, Michael. We're going to pull up 3 random things.
Hey, Siri. List me 3 random items.
Wow.
You don't have any items about random. Siri is about as useless an AI as I've ever seen in my life.
Doing that Apple stuff, man.
3 random items so that we can rank them with our dear listener, Michael Vannoy, longtime loyal listener. Here we go. Number 1, an outlet, electrical outlet, a towel, or a baby doll. Go.
Okay, well, obviously the electrical outlet is the most important of all these things because it is literally like it's nearly magic. Like it's you stick a thing in that and power comes to it. That is,
but think about all the terrible things that have also occurred due to electricity.
Yes, but not through an electrical outlet. Very few people have died because of electrical outlet. Just the outlet, just a 120, sticking a fork in it. You're just going to get a shock.
Poor electricity's had all these feelings bottled up, and finally it had an outlet.
Yes. So this a electrical outlet is obviously number 1, followed by the fact that although I know baby dolls have this aura of like, oh, your kids to this day
to care.
don't know that the baby dolls are at the very, very bottom because they're creepy.
Yeah, creepy.
They're spooky.
They may come alive.
They're yes, and like it's like the Chucky doll.
That's true.
They're just not. And towels. Towels. Like that is the item that for which was created. Somebody got their hands wet once and thought we need an article.
I need it dry, and I need it dry now.
We have to have something for which to towel this off. I can't just air dry. Do you think in the Westerns they had towels? No, they stood up out of the tubs and just stood there.
Okay, Michael.
So,
what would you say
number
between
one-
electrical outlets, towels, baby dolls? Not a good one. This was not a good list. Randomlister.com.
Thanks.
I should have went with spoon.
I'm there. I also list the electrical outlet as number one. You just need it for so much. Then would come the towel. And then what do you need a baby doll for?
Nothing.
Really?
Nothing.
But what do you need a towel for?
If we all lost our outlets today, how affected would we be?
Life would shut down.
Outlet malls, the outlets that we use to express our rage, everything. Electrical outlets. Towels.
But towels you could do completely without as well.
We could all have air dryers.
But you wouldn't want to, though, right?
Well, you don't want to because it's just more time consuming.
Electricity, if you didn't have it, you would do things like, I don't know, things that are more worthwhile with your time. Sometimes.
Well, it's not electricity. It's just the fact that there was no outlets.
Yes,
like we couldn't plug anything in.
Yes, but that would be healthy.
No.
No.
How much better was the world, though, before electricity?
Not
Before
that
outlets.
great.
Before outlets.
People died. People's lifespan died in childbirth. I mean, electricity is literally
not talking about diseases.
No. Electricity has caused all the great inventions that we have today that we need all require some form of electricity. Like there is nothing
an outlet, not electricity.
Well, I'm saying, but via outlet, even if you're discussing just normal outlets, like replace any other electrical input or outlet with just a typical outlet. Yes, we could get by. If all we had were 120 outlets, we would still be awesome. We could still do it. We would figure things out. But not, yes. The lack of electricity.
Yes.
Yes, with electricity. I'm just shocked that you're even trying to make it.
I was just interested. Because without towels, you have all the stuff you.
Here's the thing. That was a poor random list because clearly electrical outlets are number one.
There's no such thing as a poor random list because it's random.
No one needs a baby doll for anything ever. It's not necessary.
Well, some of them kids with psychological problems that use up baby dolls very effectively.
So yeah,
how do you feel?
You don't have
feel
kids.
Happy or sad?
That's true. I can't relate.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Psychotic.
Yeah. So
and towels. I'm an air dry guy. I can do it.
You have never.
I run around the backyard sometimes to save on towels. Go in the dryer.
You are not dry currently. You don't air dry anything. You perspirate. I like to stay constantly. Moist. You are constantly moist.
I'm a moist guy.
You are moist right now.
I'm moist of the time.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. So thank you, Michael Vannoy.
That went.
That was very. Thank you for calling in.
Before we let Michael go, any final comments, questions, concerns?
No, you guys are awesome.
We know this.
I know I give you, Jerry, a hard time sometimes in the email, and that's all just in fun. But yeah, you guys are great. Have a good one, and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for listening.
I take it
We'll
personally.
try to do you proud with the Bubba.
Join our Patreon.
That should be the
when everybody leaves. Okay, thank you. Join our Patreon.
No, when they come in, are you a member of our Patreon? No. Oh, what? We can't hear you. Drop call.
Give us some money.
What a terrible way of being.
Do you know y'all still get $1 from me every month?
What?
Yes, it's $1.
Bubba signed up and put in $1 every month.
Thank you, Bubba.
That's $12 a year. Don't you think we go to
Okay, and wait, okay. Silence, please. Silence. We got to have silence in the room. And who do we have next?
We're ready to kick Michael out of the room.
Yeah,
yes.
He's gone. Thank you, Michael. Join our Patreon.
All right. Next up, you have Dee. She's Mama D on the Discord.
Mama D.
I'll let you know when she joins and you can start talking to her.
Oh, she just said she could.
I can hear you. Happy New Year, guys. How are you?
We are making it.
We are doing quite well. As this is Mama D, as in Dee Dittman.
Yes.
Okay. Facebook. She's in our Facebook group. She's in the Discord. Thank you very much for joining us today, Mama Dee Dittman.
Well, thanks for having me.
Do you have any questions, comments, concerns that you would like to ask?
Not really a question, just a comment. Of course, long-time listener, first-time caller. But you always say about how this is board game adjacent, the podcast. And I just wanted to let you guys know how much we appreciate your podcast. I'm the only real gamer in our family, but my teenage son listens to your podcast constantly. I try to drag him to the board game table, but it hasn't been very successful. Sort of hit and miss.
What's your son's name?
He absolutely loves your podcast. I'm sorry?
What's your son's name?
Gavin.
Gavin.
He goes by NXGR4.
He's also in the Discord.
NXGR4? That's a great name.
Yeah.
NXGR4 is a great name.
That's his Discord name.
And he likes our podcast, although he's not a board gamer.
He absolutely, he loves your podcast. He's constantly listening to it. He listens to it on Spotify.
That's interesting.
But, I'll be listening to it through the house, and then he's listening to it on his desktop when he's doing his video gaming. He likes the video game.
Nice.
I have found that the video games, especially like Enrique, he's the video gamer of the group, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But there are closet video gamers. Like I was shocked one day. Yes, Enrique's like yes, closet. But my definition of a closet video gamer is somebody you don't expect. And then one day it's just it is revealed to you like Bubba's like a grand champion Rocket League player, and I did not know that until one day it just happened, and it was like, oh, I've never played.
Oh,
Rocket
we were
League.
over.
It's all of a sudden guys like, I can use Rocket League. It's like, what is this? Cars and soccer. So there is that, but that BGA, that Board Game Arena, is like the video game version of board gaming. I think that's kind of like a outlet for people who like the electronic version. But he's not a board gamer.
He's not a board gamer.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
No, he's not really a board gamer. Now, for schooling, like on Fridays from 2 to 4, I host a gaming group for him and some of his friends. So I do get him to go on BGA. We do that consistently on Friday afternoons.
Cool.
But as far as a physical board game, taking him to the table, no.
So what's a game that you can get him to play on BGA?
I'm sorry, what?
What's a game you get him to play on BGA?
It depends. I try to play one new one every Friday just to expose them, since they're the younger crowd, to more games and hopefully get them into the hobby. But we play anything from Heat to, I think it's Pirate Catan or something like that. Pirate Catan.
Isn't it weird? Board games is like drug dealing. You have to gateway people into it. Like you have to get them hooked.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I'm doing the same thing with my kids. Like you have to get them to a point of, let's do this, let's try this game, and they get excited about it. But you're competing against so many other easy dopamine antagonists, out there. Like their phone and the screen is something that will always kick in. I think almost you have to really get into board gaming, the social aspect of it has to be something that they can engage with, like with their friends. And
right.
I think that's why I like negotiating games so much better. It's like you cannot have that in a video game almost. You just something you need to be looking across the table. Like even
right. And like on BGA, we do the group there on BGA, but he likes to host the stream on Steam for the live chat. So even though there's something there available in BGA, he likes to do the live chat stream on Steam.
It's a school thing. That's interesting to do.
Yeah. We do. I homeschool my kids.
As
and
do
Fridays in the afternoon. Once we get the main academics done on Friday afternoons from 2 to 4, we do board games online with fellow homeschoolers.
That's cool.
That's a way to be. That is a way to be.
I can't relate.
Yeah, you have no children. You've not procreated. But as someone else who also has children and homeschools, that is a thing. And yes.
He always points out the procreate, but they're adopted.
Well, listen, that doesn't mean I didn't try.
Hey. It calls something.
It's the same. It's the same.
It's the same difference.
It's the same. Why are you calling me out?
The results is the same.
My kids listen to this podcast. They might not know they're adopted.
Yeah. And when you see his kids, you would think they're not adopted.
I know.
Like he inserted his DNA into his kids.
Yes, my 5'8" 10-year-old.
Well, that's true.
He's adopted. Jack and Kaya, I have some news for you.
Oh, boy.
Oh, that's
but yes, so you're the only gamer in the family. That is difficult. That is a difficult thing. Stay strong.
I try. I keep trying to get him to the table. We have a few successes, like exploding kittens, which every time they ask me to play that, I'm like,
oh, that's like Jack's favorite game is exploding kittens, and it is the.
Is that any good?
No, it's not. It's not. It's.
What about like Can't Stop? Like to me, that's like a good one, even though it's like I don't know. Speaking of gateway drugs,
he doesn't really like it. Like I tried Earth with them, and he's like, "Oh, this is too long."
Yeah,
but he loves Heat, so it's just hit or miss. I'm trying to figure it out. But
we have played recently two very well. The big hit with us right now is that Trio or Nana, but you would get this Trio.
Yeah,
that's a good one. That's a good, fast, quick, nice, easy card game.
Memory game almost. Yeah, it's hard getting people in. I don't know what exactly it is that does it. Now, we played Wild Space the other day by Pandasaurus, and that was very good. I was shocked by how well, and that's rated as like their family rated game with landing ships on planet and having crews, and it's very cutesy. But Wild Space is an excellent family game as well. But yeah, it's hard being the one that has to try to get their kids away from screens and into something more interactive. And my kids are the same way. They'll claim that they'll hate board games, but certain ones they're really all about. Enrique used to think he hated board games.
I didn't think
You didn't think you liked them until you found the way.
Yeah. Like you kind of just dragged me along.
And it's funny, he's a twin. My son's a twin, and they're just complete opposites on like what they like. So even that aspect, trying to get them both to the gaming table is a challenge.
Wow, stay strong. You just have to force them sometimes. So listen,
forces and bribe.
Yes, you just have to say, listen, we're doing this. I got my kids into painting minis, which was the thing that like set them off the most. Was like, I'm painting and I want you to help me paint these. And they got way into that. And that's like, we're going to paint these and now we're going to play with this. And that was certainly helpful. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard getting the one thing. Like my kids are all in the dragons and that dragon. What was it? Dragon game, Dragon Lair, Dragon Flamecraft.
Oh, okay.
Became like their thing. It's just because it has a dragon on it. They think, oh, it's wonderful. But yeah. Well, anyways.
Well, Dee, thank you for calling in. We appreciate it very much. And Gavin, that was correct, right? Gavin, NXGR.
NXGR.
What is that from?
NXGR4.
Is that something of?
I have no idea.
Okay.
It was a retired Roblox name that nobody could take, and then I guess it came available, and he snatched it up. He's like, "This is like a golden grail name on Roblox." I'm like, okay.
He might be. It might be a gang thing too.
All right. Well, Dee, thanks for calling in, and everything else.
Thanks for having me, and Happy New Year, guys.
Yes. You stay safe. I always say
you too. Thank you.
I always tell people to stay safe,
as if they're in danger.
Like they're in danger.
Yeah.
You might be in danger.
Stay safe.
The government's
Don't get assaulted.
The government's out the kitchen.
Yeah. Next up, we have Bruno Baronet.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
It comes in hard.
It's
my vice president.
Sir, yes, sir.
Yes, Bruno. How's it been going?
Been good, great. Thanks for asking. How about you?
This is. I am in the prime of my life. Like I just told somebody the other day. I'm going to share this very emotional moment simply because Bruno is on the podcast because I love Bruno. I was talking with my wife, and we were discussing like planning things, like financial stuff, into life stuff, just anything. Because I work in hospice, so I'm always around death. Mm-hmm. And I just casually mentioned to my wife that my dad told me one time that I'm not going to live very long. Not him, but me. And he said, yes, he's told me this. And I remember being like 12 years old and going like, why? He said, well, he says, I was exposed to, my dad was a veteran. He was exposed to like various chemicals in Vietnam. And he said, I was reading up on it. And he said, like, children of veterans that have this they typically die very young. And my dad told me at a very young age, live fast.
Wow.
Dude,
thanks, Dad.
No, that was like, and that was not an emotional like, oh no, it was like, yeah, okay, thanks. Like, don't plan on dying old. Like, don't plan on retirement. Just do your thing. And so I just casually mentioned my wife. My wife's like, well, when we get old, da, 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 da. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to make 65. She's just, what do you mean? I'm like, no, I'm not going. I probably won't make 55. Like, she's like, how morbid that is. She brought out. But I realized the other day that has been my mindset of like, I have just assumed that I'm not going to live very long. I think that's like the greatest gift my dad has ever gave me because first off, I think he's wrong. I think he's wrong. And two, it has caused me to often when I think about something go, I'm just going to do this anyways because I can't wait around. I think I'm basically that whole country song, about
it's helped you to
live like you were dying.
Seize the day.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
I guess my question becomes, how does this disconnect to Bruno?
It just because Bruno was my vice president.
So is this the gentleman that you played the game
on the mega
with?
game with?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
I heard about this.
I told you
yes,
that
you did.
me and
Very
Bruno.
excitedly.
Bruno, first off, we went and played that mega game again. And one of the individuals that was in the mega game that you were in, two things occurred. The next game, this gentleman was the president and I was the admiral. And he contacted me immediately and said, listen, I'm going to try to get you as much power as I possibly can. And I'm like, why? He says, I remember you as the president last time.
That phone is great.
Yes. And he said, I understand you know how to play the game. And then asked me, is your vice president here? It was like 6 months later, and he's wanting to know, is your vice like we were that.
So these are permanent positions for you guys.
We were that influential.
I've never felt so many people hate me.
I know. That was so sad. It was truly this moment of like so many people hated Bruno that they were like, we think he's a traitor. And I'm like, I can vouch for him. We're fine. And it became like and it was because he was just doing his job. Yeah. And I felt bad because, it was very turmoil time.
And they put me in the brig and they're like, we want to test you. And I'm like, fine, test me. And then, it's negative. And then their face fell down because their whole game, they thought, we have him. And they're like, no.
You've got nothing on me.
Bruno, I would say I've never met you before, but I've heard a lot about you, sir. So very well done. Very well done.
Nice meeting you too.
Bruno, what have you been up to otherwise? How's everything in Canada?
Well, in Canada, lots of changes happened in my life recently, and now a couple of months ago, I moved to Parksville on the island of Vancouver, and right now I live in a trailer down by the river.
Ironically enough, I know where the island of Vancouver is, sir.
Wait a minute. When you say the island of Vancouver, that is not Vancouver.
No.
There is another island that is referred to as Vancouver.
Yes.
Exactly. Across from the city of Vancouver, which is on
west of
on the shores of the
east of Vancouver,
the Pacific.
Yeah.
Across from it, there's a huge island which is called Vancouver, with no cities named Vancouver on it, but there's the city of Victoria.
Yep.
Okay. It's related to is it in the Vancouver area?
Yes.
Okay, it's in the same province or state.
Yeah.
It's all beautiful up there though, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
So right now, there's bald eagles, deers, otters outside.
Any hairy eagles? So, but Bruno, have you moved there for good reasons, positive reasons, negative reasons?
No, very good reasons.
Okay, good.
We're just, my wife is retired and I'm kind of half retired. Yeah. So
nice.
We sold our home and we're taking it easy.
Well, That's awesome, Bruno. When I see your face, like I have a super soft spot in my heart for the face of Bruno. He just smiles. He's pleasant.
Oh, Vancouver Island's by Seattle.
Yeah, we will have to. I will have to one day email you, even though I don't know you, and ask you about vacation spots because that's why I know where it is. I was going to vacation with my wife. We were going to be out in the wilderness for a week, and I was trying to find a good spot.
I want to go on a cruise.
I ain't doing no cruise.
And go up there. Listen, I want to go on a cruise and go up that Alaskan thing because I want to see whales and penguins.
You can fly and see that.
No, but I want to go on a boat.
Lots of killer whales around.
Lots of killer whales around there. Right?
I want to see orcas.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any concerns, questions, comments, something you want to say? Ask us anything.
All right.
The
I
floor is
was
yours.
wondering because do you guys have any grail games or hard to find games that you're always looking out for? I wish I could find that game.
Good question.
I can 100% guarantee you, Jerry does. Enrique isn't aware of what's going on at this very moment.
I'm a random guy. I'm just random.
Bubba's random.
Yeah.
We actually, speaking of, not that it's a grail game for us because it's been sitting on our shelf for 7 years. We've had Archipelago, and we've been wanting to play it, but I bought it in April of 2017, preceding this very podcast, when we just played games just to play them.
Yes,
but we never played it, and it sat there. Today we broke it out. We started it. And Jerry, being the rules guy, realized
that was my fault.
This game is very old, and like the book needed some updating. There were some confusing things.
And I'll be honest about that because I know I did say that I was going to teach this game. And because I'm the type of person that I am, I can only take responsibility to about 50%. So I'll take 50% responsibility in the fact that I did not take any time to learn this game. And the reason for that is completely Bubba's fault because Bubba invited me to go to Top Golf. And I don't know.
I'll take that other 50. I'll take the other 50.
Okay, I don't know if you know what Top Golf is, Bruno, but in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
He's shaking his head now.
In the Dallas-Fort Worth area, there is a place called Top Golf with apparently some sort of engineer that worked on missile guidance systems.
He did indeed, yes.
Took the missile guidance system and said, what if I combine this with driving range for golf? Now, I'm not much of a golfer, but I am like the John Daly of golfing. I enjoy wearing funny clothes, drinking, and just hitting balls.
So is that the game that you hit the screen and then there's a virtual ball?
No,
not that one.
Normally
there is one. There is one like that, but not that one.
Normally there is, but in Texas, we have to have the real land.
Yeah.
So they purchased for like $1 billion about 400 yards worth of property in the middle of Allen, Texas.
This one has it's basically a giant driving range
multiple
with
decks.
Censored target systems on the range.
And you rent the little pods that you can drive out of, and the balls are just dispensed through this sensor, and you can have a bunch of people go there and they bring you alcohol, and you stand up on this large ledge, and you take Enrique with you, and then you hit balls.
You have to pay for the alcohol. They don't just bring it.
They brought me alcohol. Well, then I don't know what happened, but they kept bringing me alcohol, and it keeps track of scores. And so that's what I did yesterday. And then Bubba made me go to the Texas Road. Well, what did we eat at the Roadhouse?
Yeah,
we went to the Roadhouse.
Yeah.
And I love meat that's raw because I am from the South and we eat raw meat.
Not all of us eat raw meat.
What did you order?
I just ordered meat.
Just want to say, Bruno, not all of us are that way.
I eat rare meat.
Okay. Let's get this in order.
I ate rare meat.
Okay, hold on. What did you order?
I ordered meat that was rare.
What did you order?
I don't know. It was spring meat's cow that is rare.
You don't know the cut of meat you ordered?
Listen, sirloin, New York strip, T-bone, doesn't matter. To me, raw meat is meat. Okay. Bring it to me.
Mm-hmm. Was Enrique there?
Yes.
Enrique, what did you order?
He ordered a sirloin 6-ounce strip.
No, hand cut
sirloin.
Yeah, sirloin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Bubba, what'd you order?
Chicken fried steak.
With extra gravy. Now listen, do you know how close it is to be at the
I've been to Texas Roadhouse like 3 times in the last 3
But
years.
then Bubba saved himself because I almost brought out the whole thing about the chicken fried steak, but then he stopped me. And by this comment alone, Bubba told me, which I need to ask Bruno about this. Do y'all have hogs in Canada?
If we have what?
Hogs.
They're invading us.
Hogs. As in hogs, like wild feral hogs.
Wild pigs.
Yes.
Feral hogs.
I think so.
So Bubba said that he wants to hunt hogs.
Yes, I'm on a hog.
They have them in the south of France. I know a friend of mine.
That is true.
Goes hog hunting all the time.
In the south of France.
South of France. So
in French hogs.
The south of America, you have a lot of them.
They look like they're hunting truffles.
No. Humans are hunting the hogs. I don't know what the hogs are hunting.
Well, we may need to go to the south of France.
Are eating hogs.
Bubba wants to butcher a hog.
Yeah.
Mainly because Bubba is now learning a new skill, which is that of butchering.
That's true.
And
nice.
yes. So thus, because of...
I like how Jerry's telling what Bubba's into. Bubba...
I'm sorry.
He can relate.
I got excited. This is all stemming from my guilt of
he says redeeming quality.
Okay.
My fault. Anyways, so
Bubba, Jerry, you've done plenty of talking.
Send us your address, Bruno. We'll come and visit.
Bubba,
Yeah, for sure.
What has gotten you into butchering?
Just a new skill. Something to learn, something to do. So
Have you done any yet?
Not yet, sir. But I've bought some knives.
So is this
how are
an
you-
online endeavor, or did you go to butchering school?
No, so in Texas we learn from YouTube.
Yeah.
It seems to be the most applicable course scenario for us to learn from. No, I will tell you, Mr. Bruno. I'm a Texan who does not know how to hunt, which is to some people is very unusual, which is okay. But I'm aping up my game. I'm getting up my game. So yes. But Canada, you guys have some beautiful. Y'all do moose, which I'm very interested in. Hey, are you against killing animals, or you're okay, or?
If it's for eating, I'm totally for it.
Good. I'm with
Not
you on
for
that.
pleasure.
Yeah, I would like to moose hunt one day in
I'd
Canada.
love to have an animal die in my hand.
Yes,
No.
but
And there's a lot of hunting going on here.
yes,
On the
I know it's the
Vancouver
season.
Island.
It's the season for it. Yes, I've been to a lot of different countries. I have never been to Canada. It is my big regret. So I'm glad to meet you and to remind me of the need to go to Canada.
Come in the summer.
In the summer, I need to come in the summer.
Yeah,
I mean,
better come in the summer.
Better
It'll
come
be
in the
more
summer.
pleasant.
Okay.
yeah, unless you want to endure extremely cold
Well,
temperatures.
I don't mind the cold. I
all
mean,
of the time.
my wife watches
And
Virgin
sun.
River on Netflix, which is supposedly made in Canada, but it's not. It's actually in California. But anyway, she wants to go to Canada because of this show. So that's
Virgin
what
River.
Yeah, it's a show on Netflix. Don't ask.
I've never heard of that.
But it's beautiful country and beautiful country in Canada.
if I go there, will it just be called River?
Okay, and that's going to do it for this for Jerry's portion of this podcast.
Hey,
Bruno?
are we going to meet at BGG Spring again?
Yes.
Yes,
And I maybe
We
I
will
will
be
meet
there.
you. Maybe I'll meet you because I think I already bought my ticket.
That'd be
Bruno,
great.
So I'll
I'll
meet
plan
you
on
soon.
going again.
Okay.
do you have any final farewells, comments, questions before we let you go, sir?
Oh, well, hey, thanks for all the shout outs, guys. There was some trying times this summer, and it was always good to have a laugh listening to you guys. So I'm really grateful.
We're pro Bruno.
I appreciate
Pro Bruno.
it.
We're
There you
pro
go.
Bruno.
Thank you,
Bruno.
Have a good one, sir.
Have a good day.
Have a great day, guys.
Bye. Tyler from Chicago.
It's Tyler from Chicago. Where's his baby?
Hello, how are you?
Hello.
My baby is not here.
Oh, what's your baby name?
I know. Her name's Nora.
That is a wonderful
Nora's
name.
cool.
Terrible game.
Thank you.
Nora the Explorer.
Norris is cool.
No, that's Dora.
Dora the Explorer.
Dora the Explorer.
Nora.
I have
Tyler from
a very
Chicagoland.
inappropriate story about Dora
That's
the
okay.
Explorer.
Tyler from Chicagoland is the general manager, commissioner of our Board Game Snobs League, correct?
Correct. And
Oh, okay.
new champion. Hello.
That was done this weekend?
That was done. That is all.
Well, congratulations,
all she wrote.
sir.
I'm the champion. You're in last place, Gabi.
I know. I'm literally in very last place. I drafted poorly.
Oh, on your fantasy?
I did some
Oh,
auto
I killed-
drafting.
Killed my fantasy. I'm top.
Good for you. Good for you.
fantasy league? Fantasy league?
Yeah, there's a fantasy league,
Oh,
Jerry.
yeah.
There's
I
a
didn't know
fantasy league.
that. I
So,
want to do
Tyler?
that next year.
Tyler.
You're on with the snobs. Any questions, comments, concerns, adjustments that need to be made?
Well, I mean, I already got the main thing I wanted to talk about.
Just called in to say I'm the winner.
I win.
No, I just wanted to wish you guys a happy new year. And I was just wondering, I mean, gosh, so we got, who else there? Bubba and Enrique?
Bubba,
Yes, this
the
is-
full
this is-
crew.
This is a rare occasion.
I know.
minus Michael,
Weird.
which He's not here.
He's dead to us right now.
He doesn't count. He doesn't count. Right, exactly. Exactly. I can't believe Bubba's back too, but Enrique too. Enrique, I have never talked to you before, so it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Great. Look at that.
Enrique, say words.
Am I saying words? Did you have me muted this entire time?
Basically.
No, you haven't said anything. You muted yourself
Yeah, you're right.
effectively.
Tell Tyler something about yourself that you find extremely intimate.
Please.
About myself?
Yeah.
Don't just say words.
I'm saying words, and you're like.
But about yourself.
Okay.
About myself.
What are your thoughts right
He
now?
always just rephrases everything you ask him.
Obviously.
He answers a question with a question.
That's true. He's good at it.
You're Christ-like.
Okay, Tyler,
Someone
hold on. Let's control this environment where we're not hollering over each other. Tyler, do you have anything specific for Enrique, or would you like to know something about Enrique?
Would I like to know something about Enrique? No, I just want
Tyler just did an Enrique.
I feel like well, Enrique, I want to meet you in your person too, but I just want to say I think that you've been really doing a good job of like opening up more and coming into your own.
Great.
And
that's cool.
I think you should open up more and push back against these wackos.
Wow.
I know.
They need
Very good advice.
You know.
And Tyler, that's all the time we got for you.
Cut him off.
Oh, that's good. That was good.
Enrique, words?
I very much appreciate it. I feel like I'm doing a little bit better trying to just open myself up.
I think you have been here lately. I think
But that's just called manspreading. That's not what he's talking about. Your feelings and emotions.
I think that's what I was referring to, Gavin.
You went golfing with us for the first time.
Yeah, that was somewhat surprising.
You had
on my
never
part.
golfed before. You're trying new things.
Tyler, are you a golfer by any means?
I actually grew up with it. I haven't golfed in a couple years now, but yeah.
Now we're talking about ball golf, not disc golf.
Oh no, I've done a little bit of that too, but no. Yeah, I grew up on golfing with my grandpa and my dad and my uncles and my cousins, and it was a lot of fun. You know, but I haven't played in a while. I'm not like great, but it is a good sport that like, you know, you can really. When I was a kid, I tried to be in like the junior PGA, and I actually played in like one junior PGA tournament. Not like, it's not anything like crazy legit or anything. I tried to be in like one tournament, and I was 13, and that was just such a horrible age for it because I just got so in my head, and I just had this like worst round of golf in my life, and just like I shot like an 80 on like the front 9 of some course, and I was like, this is ridiculous. What am I doing? You know? So, but as I've gotten older, I feel like I'm playing better because it's like it's a sport that just requires that like maturity, you know, where when you're playing, you can kind of tune out the inner critic in you, you know, and just it's a sport that gives a really unique feeling. Cause I mean, I don't feel like you can really get that out of like playing football or playing, you know, baseball or something. I don't know. You guys like golf?
It's a spatial intelligence thing. And I had the privilege of one of the firemen I used to work with. His younger brother was third in the state in the junior PBA, and I had the privilege of playing with him. And of course, at the time, squandered it because I did not realize I was playing with almost a semi-professional individual. But at the same time, what always caught me off guard was it is not just there's a mental game to it. You cannot be the type to be super self-critical during the game. Like if you make a bad shot, you have to be able to shake it off and it not affect the very next, which was my biggest weakness. I make one bad shot, and 3 holes later, I'm still thinking about it and it's affecting me. And so I think that the mentality of golf is very interesting because not only is it the ability to control the placements of your hands and be so self-aware of these various swings and your body movement, but also just the mental side of it. I don't think there is a game that affects you that way. The mental side of it, that's both mental and physical. You know, like chess, of course, is obviously very mental. But it's more strategy and planning. But this is actually, where are your hands? Where is your arms? It's just you.
Have you ever watched The Legend of Bagger Vance?
Yes. Yeah.
I love that
Yep.
movie.
Good movie.
I love that movie.
Good movie.
Yep.
And
Like a
it's
Will Smith throwaway.
completely, yeah,
Pretty good.
yeah.
It's completely what?
Can I say one thing? Just one.
Yeah.
I just like to say this when you said
Fantastical.
Tyler from Chicago. I know he probably gets this, but it's like Tyler the Creator. And I was thinking, that's crazy.
I don't know who Tyler the Creator
I
is.
know it's okay, but
Who is Tyler the Creator?
he's like right next to Chance.
Is this like Charlemagne
he's
the
not
God?
No, he's not the greatest person in the world,
Oh.
but it's you
Who
said
is,
Chicago,
though?
and that's
Are
Chance
we-
the Rapper. Chance the Rapper made me think of Tyler the Creator, and I
If
connected
you
that.
prick me, will I not bleed? We're all imperfect.
That's right.
I like to say that I like to point out I knew who Charlemagne the God was.
But no, golf is excellent. Everything he said is
So they
correct.
went to a glorified golfing range. Was that yesterday?
Top golf.
Yeah, and they had a good time. It's been quite some. Actually, the last time I played golf was with the three of us.
Yes, we do it once a
Then
year.
we all did.
It's been- We need to do that again.
Tyler, how old's your baby now?
She's 3.
That is
So
the
we had
best
yeah,
age.
It's so much fun. She's so much fun now, and she's got so much personality, and like
yeah.
just like has so much like just like you can have actual conversations.
Yes.
Yeah.
with a 3-year-old, and it's just so much.
It's
fun.
like
So,
having
like,
a drunk person
Is
with
she
you.
Hilarious.
Is
Yeah.
she walking yet?
Yes, it's gotta be.
Oh yeah.
When do
She's
they
3
walk?
years, like
Fucking a long time.
like a year and a half,
She-
man.
And she can talk. She's like
Walking in.
arguably she has the language skills that are a little beyond her years. People are
Oh.
surprised when they learn that
Only
she's
child?
3. They think more like
You're-
a 4-year-old.
Oh,
So
oh, oh.
she's
Only child.
she's like can express some wild opinions and just like she's just got lots of emotions. Just
What What's
has a
her
hard time.
wildest opinion she's expressed?
Well, not like a.
She's a Marxist.
Like, what do you think, Gabby? she's like out there just like, Daddy, I don't know if you've heard of quantitative easing.
but no, that age, literally, I do not know why people like babies. I think it's because it's the concept when they get about 6 months old and they start having a little bit of personality.
Yep.
And then you go through the so-called terrible twos. Once you hit that sweet spot where they're able to talk, walk, and they're potty trained or
3 to
almost
6.
potty, that 3 to 6. Tyler, I'm going to tell you right now that is. Do you know? Have you? I don't know if anybody else does this, but as you get older, you look back and you wonder, and you think this was the great time of my life.
Right.
This time period right now is literally
Enjoy
the
it.
best time of your life.
It's
From
like
the time
Dwight-
that she's 3 to 6 years old. If
Yeah.
you can quit your job or whatever you do, that you can spend time with that little drunk person that goes around spouting off things. That's what that kid is.
It's kind of like Andy Bernard said on The Office, if only you knew you were in the good old days when you were in the good old days.
I had the privilege of being there. I knew it. Like, I legitly remember my kids being that age and thinking to myself,
this is
nothing will ever top this. This is the greatest time of my life.
And it's been downhill ever since.
Well, yeah, because you're at the pinnacle. Like it is. It is literally, you understand that this is it.
But what about when Kaya gets married or Jack gets married?
It will not compare.
And they produce you grandchildren.
But nothing will compare to that time.
And then
it's
the grandchildren
first.
are 3 to 6.
But it's the first time, and you're young enough to be able to appreciate it. You're not old. You don't have a.
I can't relate.
I know, but it's this time period of just this is it. And I remember thinking that. And you know what? I credit that to
your father,
Chris Rock.
Oh,
Chris Rock has a Chris Rock.
He was like, what?
Okay,
I was like, what?
Chris Rock
connection.
Yes,
I know.
yes.
I know. Connection.
Chris Rock has one of the greatest quotes of all times, talking to some reporter about his kids. And he made the comment. This is prior to the slap. So this is not after he got real, come back.
P.S.
He said he hates it when people talk about sacrificing things for their children. He says people will say, I sacrificed this for my kids. I sacrificed this, whatever. He says, you don't sacrifice anything for your kids. It's what you're supposed to do. You sacrifice time with your kids for other things. And I remember reading that and thinking, he is absolutely right. That mindset of, I'm not going to do this thing. I'm going to spend time with my kids, blah, 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 blah. I've sacrificed this.
Right.
So I can spend, no.
Because they're first.
They are, that is it. And that mindset, and I thought, and you will never find that quote. You have to dig for it. But Chris Rock said that. I remember thinking that man has the priority of that. That's it. That is it. And that thought process, that led me to the time of this is the greatest time in my life. Tyler from Chicagoland, we appreciate you.
Tyler, do you have any final questions, comments, concerns?
No, I just want to say I really appreciate you guys, and the whole community that we've started up around it, around this podcast and on the Discord and playing on your BGA and everything.
I appreciate you very much on the Discord.
Talking to you guys, but meeting so many other awesome listeners on there. I feel like we need to have a Snobs Con at some point,
It's coming.
I agree.
One day it will come.
I agree.
Just the very fact that Ryan is like running this on his conference thing, that's very nice. We appreciate everyone very much.
Ryan is a very nice.
Join our Patreon.
Ryan is, if I had to rank our listeners in terms of...
Oh, Tyler's still on the channel, so...
Oh, well, I don't know what Tyler looks like. I have a picture of Tyler and his baby.
You're in our top 10,
which
Tyler.
is weird. I have a picture of Tyler.
I don't know you, but I like you, so you're good. I like you, man.
He's in a picture of his baby.
You came out to Bruno. It was cool.
Let Tyler say goodbye as he drinks his coffee or
goodbye
whiskey. Okay.
Love you guys.
If you're drinking whiskey
Goodbye,
out
Tyler.
of a mug, you're OG.
Thank you. Audio wave.
And I'm waving even though he can't see me.
There you are, sir.
All right, Ryan. Next up,
we have
Dave Allen is on his way into the room.
I want to talk to David Allen.
Okay, now Ryan, if I'm correct, you have a hard out at 2:00, correct?
No, at 2:30.
Okay.
I'm here till 2:30.
Okay.
Yeah, Leslie worked last night. She's an overnight. I think I told you guys this. She's an overnight infant nanny, and so she worked last night. And the longer I'm on, the longer she gets to sleep. So
that's nice. She's a what was the term he used that I laughed about? The nanny.
Overnight infant nanny.
Overnight infant nanny.
He's at a hospital?
No, just at people.
Oh, okay.
Her technical term is a neonatal sleep specialist.
Yes.
Oh,
she sleep trains the infant. These people are most of them are ultra rich, and so when they hire her so they can just sleep through the night.
Yeah.
And she trains the baby to sleep through the night. And then the better she does, the less work she has.
My son, who, of course, Goppy just recently outed as being adopted, didn't sleep for more than 2 hours straight the first 18 months of his life. And I can honestly say, as the person who was in charge of that, because my wife, for the most part, she had to sleep because she was with him during the day. I stayed up with him. I can say that there is no amount of money for which I would not have paid to get 6 hours of sleep in that time period. And so whatever they pay your wife,
well worth it.
It is well worth it. Because who's this?
This is Dave Allen.
Hey, Dave Allen. I was just telling Bubba about you, Dave Allen.
It's me.
Okay, now, David, welcome to the podcast.
Can we get something out of the way first?
Please do.
I am not Jerry.
I'm glad this is not. I'm glad this is not Jerry's burner account. So on Discord, David, he's very loquacious. And he seems to be knowledgeable in many areas. It just seems like super smart and educated and artistic. And I hate that. I'm basically crediting Jerry with these qualities when I say that.
Keep going.
So I've said, but David, I'm like, but he says things like Jerry would say.
Okay.
And I said, this is the burner account for Jerry. This is what this is.
Okay. That's hence
his pseudonym of David Allen.
So. Hence the declaration.
So David, what would you like to address us with at this time?
Well, I have a couple questions, and one of them is, why do you guys think that so many guys like us love board games?
I have a theory.
Good question.
I have a theory.
When you say guys like us, what do you mean?
Overweight.
I mean, I'm trying not to target, trigger, or other.
Trigger away.
All right. Just, guys who are of some years and have maybe already kind of had their basically middle-aged white dudes.
Yeah.
And I said,
he said it.
Not always, fortunately, it's a good thing. But I'm just wondering, what is it? What is it that makes the board game hobby?
Bubba's got it. Bubba's got this. Go, Bubba, because I got it too. So you go.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Go, Bubba.
Can I do this?
Do it.
Go ahead.
Here's my observation as the guy who observes these things. No, I think it's because middle-aged white guys or those who can relate or in that group find that board game engages us, but also gives us the social aspects that sometimes we may find difficult to do. So it's like an even playing field. You don't have to worry about all those things in the world that differentiates you or all these other things. But board games just lays the playing field down. You're in a common interest. And man, it feels good to be with people who want to do what you want to do without pretense or mindsets confirmed about biases or whatever not. None of that matters. We just playing board games. So I like that. That's what I think.
And my thoughts a little more radical.
Go ahead.
Obviously. So I recall many years ago, my father telling me about my grandfather, who I did not know him very well. I mean, he died when I was really young, and my dad told me that he stormed the beaches of Normandy.
Gotcha.
And told me a brief story about my poor alcoholic grandfather. And I just remember thinking, that is amazing. Like everything that I've heard negative about him. Of course, my dad was in Vietnam and told me all these stories. And so I think that board games allows individuals such as us who have lived a life and done other things to be able to engage in a pseudo environment that is, it's imaginary, but similar, and let us act out what we think we would do in those situations. That's why there's all these old grognard 50-year-old men with beards that sit in their that sit in their basement playing these war games. Yeah. Because they think, if I had been Patton, I could have taken this First Army, Second Army up, and I could have done this in 72. And it's this idea that for a moment, we get to live in some world for which we will never be able to do and engage in something that we desperately want. We wonder in the back of our minds, could we do this? Could we be able to manage this? And I think that taps into that thing that all young men do. Will you imagine something happening and you're the hero, you're the main character syndrome, you're able to do something? I think that's what board games slightly tap into.
Well, I'm glad you said slightly, because like, how do you explain like playing Concordia?
Well, it's whenever you do something of that nature, I'm not saying it's like, okay, you're going to be the Allies, I'm going to be the Nazis, and I'm going to relive my fantasy of always being, I'm Rommel. No, it's the idea of, here is this event, and from a bird's eye view, you're able to manage this thing, if that makes more sense.
I'll say this, and I like to get David's point of view on it, is that I think, too, that just speaking in generic terms, as a middle-aged person, most likely you took the responsibility of your family. You were very driven in life or had some concept of it, trying to be responsible, so forth and so on. And sometimes people feel as if they didn't get to live their childhood fully as they want to.
Right.
And so the sacrifices that we took to take care of our families, et cetera, because we probably have baby boomer parents who grew up in a certain generational attitude that does reflect on us. So that now board games gives us the ability to be children again, and yet still be responsible adults with all that. And I don't think that people understand the gravity or the mindset that's generationally put upon you. And where you kind of miss that out sometimes. I think we miss those years.
The funnest people of that age.
Hold on.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But I didn't know.
To get David's point of view.
Yeah, because David, I mean, obviously you've classified yourself.
Or Dave, as he goes by.
So I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's a combination of the fact that when you get older, it's a little bit harder to make friends, to reach out to people. Because you kind of get fossilized in your life, you get kind of ensconced in your personal situation. I think that when you get to a certain age, all of us are supposed to be dead. We've, in theory at least, passed on our genes, and we're done. If we were praying mantises, our wives would have eaten our heads already. And so we are looking for purpose. And sometimes sometimes we act out finding purpose by rehearsing using games. Like Jerry, I think you're right about wanting to find like these pivotal events or these sort of world-shaking actions that we can do. When you get to, it's almost like your scope gets bigger, but your life gets smaller. And board games are kind of a way to find that. I mean, and then the other reason is it's all junk DNA. You know, we're just doing whatever because we're just basically acting on the dictates of our junk DNA.
And that junk DNA somewhere deep down tells us that we are a descendant of a centurion somewhere, and that if need be,
or race.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting also, as well as Bubba was bringing out about people who were robbed of their childhood. I think of my father, who very much was robbed of a childhood. I mean, my father legitly picked cotton and took care of his other 8 siblings, and then when he was 18, went to Vietnam. But if you were around him as an adult, he was like the funnest person to be around. Because he wanted everything to be a game. Everything was funny, everything was lighthearted. And if you were doing something, it didn't matter how silly he thought it was, he was with you in it. And it was that was up until was 64 years old. He would call me and say, "Hey, let's go golfing." And me and him would just go. I was telling Gabi that we'd just go golfing and drink beer, and neither of us could golf. And he just was always the type of having that. And I think it was true. He was robbed of this childhood, but yet at the same time, he has this deep inward need, I think, that we all have, to be able to relate to other people, to have rules and structures, and to be able to go, I want to engage with you in this arena, and to be able to see and witness other people's actions and their ingenuity and their brain power, so to speak. And I think board games do that in a way that just simply is not available otherwise.
And I would say something not possibly quite as deep as y'all are saying is just disposable income and time.
Well, that's true. I think that there's also, but I'll push
the opportunity, but maybe not the motive.
I would say just to build it, and I'll shut up.
You don't have to shut up.
If you boil it all down in a nutshell, what we're really saying is the ideal of fantasy, which doesn't mean a make believe, but fantasy in that we are giving ourselves the space to derive whatever feelings or emotions we have from a construct that we ourselves control. And board games do that for you. And for whatever reason that you may need or want.
Yeah.
I think fantasy gives us that ability to do that socially, emotionally, wherever it may be.
I think that all entertainment mediums, to some degree, that fantasy is correct. Like all men, and I'll use that word fantasize, because it is that. Like you think about what you want to be or what you could be, or you watch movies and think of, man, what relates to you, what you see on the screen, are qualities that you wish either you have, or that you think that you have, or that you do have and you want exemplified. Like everybody watches the original Star Trek and think, I would be Captain Kirk. I would be the sexy guy with hair and going down and doing the thing. But at the same time, you'll watch The Next Generation and there's Picard, and you're somewhat like, well, this wise, like you see qualities in things, and it tends to be this fantasy of what you would be able to do in those situations. And I think that that's what board games also provide. It is the framework for it.
To Gabi's point, though, I think the reason why we choose board games is that it allows us to not just to see it from a periphery of a Star Trek or whatever the show is, but allows us to engage ourselves in it. So it's the closest we can engage ourselves in, because when we do something in our mindset, it becomes real to us in a way. And so now we're almost ultimately engaged in this fantasy.
And it tells a story.
So I think along those lines, that's why RPGs are the biggest in that area, because they literally allow you to act out either an exaggerated sense of yourself or what you want to be in your mind. And I love that aspect of RPGs.
Right.
Very nice. Very good question.
Yeah. I just want to, I know you guys have lots of people to talk to, which speaks volumes to your popularity. I just wanted to say 2 things. One is that I think that board games allow for a sort of consequence-free exaggeration of your personality, like Gabi was saying, and also competition in a place where it doesn't necessarily really matter. It's not like you're competing for a job or something. And we all need that kind of catharsis that comes from that situation. And the other thing I wanted to say is, Bubba, your voice is so mellifluous. I could listen to you read the phone.
Bubba prides himself on
Thank you,
his
sir. I
voice.
very much appreciate that.
Yes.
You should have your own podcast.
Bubba was
it.
speaking for the middle-aged white man, even though he is not one.
Well, I understand. I can relate.
Yeah, I just,
It's very, I think
color doesn't matter.
no, it's a very insightful question. It's very nice.
Dave, thanks for coming on, and it's good to finally talk to you.
Very nice to meet you, sir.
And you too, Bubba. Take care, you guys.
Thank you, yes, sir.
Dave is not my burner account.
Okay.
I like that.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
So next up is going to be Colton Riddle.
Hello?
There he is, Colton Riddle. Welcome to the podcast.
That name sounds familiar. Riddle me this.
Oh, that's me. Well, I sent you guys an email.
That's right.
A few weeks ago, and you guys were saying that, like, why didn't you put a name? It's because we hadn't decided a name yet. So it's been about a month. He still doesn't have a name.
You haven't named him?
Just been calling him Baby.
Just Baby?
No,
Baby number one.
it's just Baby. Now we named him Collin James Riddle.
Callan?
Callan. With a K or is it a C?
Is that Bubba?
This, yes, sir.
Bubba is
That's
here.
Bubba and Enrique.
Do you
both
do it with
here.
a K or with a C? I'm very interested.
With the C.
With the C.
Okay, I was
got you.
nervous. That K thing.
Okay.
Kinda.
Most times C is for the boy, but I'll make
yeah,
sure.
yeah, you got to do the
Okay,
Callan.
I thought I was a little weird because it's just like, I'm not going to spell it with the K. I just feel weird.
I don't really like any boy names that start with K.
Yeah.
Every kiss begins with K.
How come it never goes the other way? Like names
Callan
that
is
start
good.
with Kevin, they never go to a C. So you've never seen a Kevin spelled with a C.
No, you never do.
You could though, and just be crazy.
Maybe there's some English name, but
Crazy.
Callan.
Yeah,
Callan.
I wouldn't be
good name.
surprised if they did do that here in Utah. I mean, we've got some weird spellings here.
Yeah, Utah's a rough place, man.
Colton spelled with a C.
I would like
It
to
is.
come back to Utah. I only got to go through it once. I wanted to go look at the dinosaur bones.
They have waterfalls.
It's
And
a beautiful place, but it's hard to get good beer there.
It's hard to get there.
Don't even tell me about it. Now, I am not one who consumes the beverage, but it's ridiculous. It's absolutely insane.
Really? Is it hard? They don't serve alcohol there?
No, not.
Oh, they
no.
do. They just make it extremely hard. The
They do.
tax is, sky high here. They make breweries and other providers of it. They have a bunch of extra. What would you call it?
Hoops to jump through.
They got it. Yeah, exactly.
Well.
And they it's one funny thing here. They got rid of it, but they called it the Zion curtain. Did you know what that is?
The Zion.
Called it what?
The Zion curtain.
The Zion curtain.
So
That sounds like
foreign.
that sounds like a defensive line that's all Mormon.
You know what it is? That's what it is.
That's what it is.
I was just throwing it out there.
No,
That's what he doing.
what it is. It's this. So to protect the dear children, you've got to you have to, if you're a restaurant that serves alcohol and if you're mixing drinks, you have to have
Curtain.
a wall.
Really?
A wall where the
Okay.
bartender is mixing drinks so nobody can see what's happening, and then they sneakily take the drink over to the table that ordered it.
I got you.
So I
That's
wonder what
interesting.
people in England that like give their kids wine when they're babies and stuff like that, how they must feel about this idea of we need to be so careful. Because my dad, I remember when I was like 16 years old, my dad had an old refrigerator out in his shop that would lose electricity, and he had the old Budweisers in there. So this beer has been cold and warm and cold and warm. When I'm like 16 years old, he says, "Son, come here," and he hands me a Budweiser. And he says, "Drink that." I took a sip and I said, "Oh, this is awful." He says, "No, drink it." And it's like June.
Yeah.
It's hot. And I drank that thing and I got about halfway done and I was about ready to puke. I said, "This is awful." He says, "Yeah, that's what beer tastes like." And he says, "So if you're ever hanging out with somebody and they're like, 'Hey, let's go get a drink," he says, "Just know this is nasty." And that man did that on purpose. I was scared to ever think of beer. I couldn't understand why people had anything to drink till I'm 21 years old. And a friend of mine like forced me to drink a Shiner Bock. That was the first beer I ever had. And I was like, Dad lied to me.
Right.
He lied to
But
me.
he saved your life.
But he did. He did.
And just to make this a context, Colton is a British name.
It is.
So maybe, there you go.
There you go.
British people.
So,
alcohol.
Colton,
There you go.
were you born and raised in Utah, or did you move there for some reason?
Born and raised.
It's a beautiful state.
I want to
though.
go to Utah.
It's a beautiful state.
I would road trip to Utah. And I couldn't take my family.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous state, and it's kind of like wherever you live, you kind of don't travel around. And that's kind of how I've been for my whole life. And I'm just recently been exploring the state that I live in, and it's gorgeous.
What's your favorite dinosaur?
Favorite? Hey, you know what? I just brought this up last night talking to my boy. He can like whatever dinosaur he wants, but I have a special place in my heart for a Stegosaurus.
So go ahead and explain to everybody why that's the best dinosaur, because a Stegosaurus, this is a pet peeve of mine, because I used to be quite the expert on dinosaurs, the Cretaceous period, and this whole thing of like Triceratops and Tyrannosaurus Rex. Well, they weren't even around each other. They didn't exist at the same time. But Stegosaurus is a very interesting, because I suspect that they were probably about as dumb as a cow, but yet still awesome. Like they're a defensive cow.
Yes.
Like,
and have you heard, okay, you're asking me this, and I was thinking about it. I was like, yesterday, I was like, why do I like the Stegosaurus? Oh, let me just say this really quick. You're going to have to forgive me if I start speaking in a Southern accent, because I have, like, whenever I talk to somebody who's got an accent, I adopt it.
Pick it up, fine.
Well, I don't have an accent.
It's okay.
By the end of this, I mean, we only have a few minutes, but by the end of this, I might be.
Jerry is about as country as you're going to get in Oklahoma. So I understand.
Yeah. But I don't know why I like the Stegosaurus so much. I just think it's the sails on its back and the spikes on its tail, and it just seems diverse, like very diversified in its aesthetic features. And then I've heard, I don't know if it's been changed, but I heard that there was, now that I'm going to say this, I feel like I've been duped, but that there's a brain in their tail, or that there's some neural connection there that they were thinking was possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty shallow, Jerry. I think it's just the way that it looks. So
there you go.
They are amazing. They are amazing creatures, and I'm trying to look up. I'm looking it up, and I'm being quite honest about it, because I will not be able to pronounce this dinosaur's name. But it was one back in the day that I was always, like every kid, when you have children, of course you have to be a dinosaur expert, because that's just what kids are. They just go on and on about dinosaurs for some reason, which I think that's fascinating, that we have animals today that defy logic. Have you ever looked at like a rhino? That's insane that this animal exists. Or one of those shoebill birds that look like they're with that. Yeah. Those things. Those are evil.
Yeah,
or what's
they
those,
look evil.
what's a cassowary? Those little the devil looking ostriches. These things are all things that exist today, but your kids don't think anything about them. But this, hang on one second here. Let me see if I can get this pronounced correctly. This dinosaur, because I will not. Hang on.
T-Rex.
No. Hang on a second, because this is how you would pronounce this particular type of dinosaur, which is also very similar to a pterodactyl. Quetzalcoatlus. A Quetzalcoatlus. That's the name. A Quetzalcoatlus is kind of like a pterodactyl, but there are these massive dinosaurs that walked on land but also flew. And they just killed everything.
They're huge.
They're massive.
They're huge.
That's so, like when you think of pterodactyl.
My younger brother, he's the smartest guy I know, and he's really, for his whole life, he's just been infatuated with like sea life and dinosaurs, and for a long time that was that dinosaur, the Quetzalcoatl or whatever.
Yes,
cats in the Catskills.
The Quetzalcoatl.
It sounds like something from the Aztecs.
It does, but he was, enamored by that, and so he did a lot of research on that and looked it up, and I can't remember or retain any information worth anything.
They're amazing, and I think that like my son, thank God, he likes the Mosasaurus. He likes water life for some reason.
I prefer the Abrahamosaurus.
And oh my gosh, that was actually not bad. I kind of laughed to mock you there, but more than I think about that, I'm like, okay, sorry.
I feel like I was part of history right there.
That kind of got me there for a minute. That kind of gave me the Christosaurus. But yeah, my son likes dolphins and all that, anything that's within the water, and so he's always was big on the Mosasaurus. But like that, it's interesting how kids will have a favorite, and how, strangely enough, most children will have a favorite dinosaur. That's something that they can pop off about. But I digress. But yeah, the Utah thing. Anyways, I'm sorry. We're rattling on.
Colton, do you have any comments, questions, concerns before you go, sir?
Anything you want to air out?
You know what? I love you guys so much. I'm tickled pink right now.
I like the fact that you used a Southern expression. I'm tickled pink.
Tickled pink.
How do you get tickled pink?
Well, thank you for listening. Thank you for calling in. It makes a call-in show work, because without anyone to call in, it'd be quite embarrassing as we sit here in silence. So,
you got lots of people who love you guys. See, there's that Southern a little bit. There you are.
There you go.
You need to come down to BGG and see us.
Yeah.
I want to.
Make the trip.
Do I have to go? Do you guys have to? Do you have to let me go? Do you have to talk to others?
Well, who do we have people in line?
Yeah, we do.
We have like a ton.
Okay.
For some reason, this is
Ryan.
incredibly successful. I did not expect us to be that successful.
We have
Colton.
like 4 in queue, and Ryan has a hard out
But
at
send
2:30.
us an email. We'll have you on the show one day. We'll have a slow episode.
That's
We'll just
right.
start having random people on the show. We're about that.
I would love that.
Send
That's
us an
right.
I
email.
would love that.
Goodbye, Colton.
Nice to meet
Thank
you,
you
sir.
for calling.
We'll talk
or
dinosaurs.
joining via the link.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a pleasure to talk to you guys.
And your son, Colton.
Bye-bye.
Cool.
Gavin,
Bye.
Callan.
I'm sorry. Callan. I'm sorry. I
Colton is a
apologize.
British name.
Thank you for correcting me. Callan.
Callan.
Got you.
All right, next up.
Yeah.
Callan is a strong name, though. Callan.
I like Callan.
Like a king or something.
There's, my other grandfather, my step grandfather, he was a
Look on
German.
Jerry's whole family tree here. Jeez.
People like me because
Next
I'm personal
up,
and open.
we have Chad Chiasson.
Chiasson.
Are you calling us
Chiasson.
from Japan?
I sure am. It is
Oh, wow. Are you serious?
a.m. right now.
Mr. Song,
What time is it?
how did you...
What time?
5 a.m. I woke up at 4 a.m.
He's been on the line.
What? No. I'm telling you, they
in-
just had an earthquake and
Yes.
he's calling in.
Yes.
That is,
I am.
Are you okay?
I'm safe.
Okay.
I'm safe. I was at my earlier in the day. We were at my son's house, and we taken a road trip today. And his mother-in-law said that she felt the earthquake, but we were hours away. We had been driving almost all day, so we didn't. Number one, I was in a car driving, and we were pretty far away that we didn't feel anything.
Very forward.
But everyone that we know that's in that area so far is safe and sound.
well, good news.
It was like a 7.5.
Good
That's when I was
grief.
reading.
Yeah,
big
that's
earthquake,
pretty.
yes.
It's
big.
pretty intense. It's
Yes,
about second time having an earthquake while I'm in Japan.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Japan was so tectonic.
The area is.
Tsunamis.
Yeah,
Yep.
tsunamis. That's the issue.
It's
Tsunami.
it sits on that ring of fire
Mhm.
that's in the Pacific Ocean.
that,
for the-
that Johnny Cash fell into. No need to be joking about that right now.
That's true.
That
Has
was
it-
not.
Has it has it caused death and destruction?
Yes.
Yes.
Really? Oh,
That's
I
why-
have not seen the news today.
Well, did you not get an alert like 6 hours ago?
No,
Okay.
I don't
watch the news?
I don't watch the news, and therefore I am ignorant as to the events going
But
on.
we don't watch the news, but we have a phone.
I
So-
don't get any alerts like that.
We don't get alerts. We just
So
get on Google.
to ease your conscience, Gavin, because I know Jerry doesn't have one.
I don't.
For the last hour, I've been answering texts and messages asking if I'm okay. So
Good.
I've been busy.
Good.
For the last hour.
Good.
Good.
We would have texted too, but we had just assumed that. I know that when you go to Japan, typically you're on a quote unquote job to eliminate monkeys, stray assassin monkeys, or something of that nature. Yeah, he kills monkeys in Japan.
I can't talk about that just yet.
There was a gang of very violent primates in Japan that were causing quite a stir. And many years ago, while Chad Chiasson was on vacation, and air quotes here, in Japan, they suddenly were wiped out. And we have often held to the theory
yeah,
that
there's a
Chad
connection.
Chiasson is some sort of you kind of like if like. I feel like if they ever made a movie about him, it would be played by Daniel Craig. We using like that voice that he had in the Glass Onion, that kind of governor. I'm Chad Chiasson up here at Tokyo. Have you seen any primates in this area? That was my best Forrest Gump for some reason. It went in the chat. I'm sorry.
From Cajun to Gump.
Yeah, that happens.
Thank you, Mr. for letting him bringing that out. I appreciate
And
you. So
yes, we were wondering about the Japanese, and I seen all your pictures. I stalk you on Facebook.
So have you experienced anything of new interest to you, this event, this trip to Japan?
Well, so right now I'm in a part of Japan I've never been to. So this part's pretty exciting. So Japan's made of 4 main islands. The main one is Honshu. That's where Tokyo is, Osaka. To the north is Hokkaido, where Sapporo, that's the famous city there. To the south is Kyushu, Fukuoka, and where the earthquake was back in 2016. But the smallest of the 4 is Shikoku. And if everyone ever is into 18XX games, there's the 1889 Shikoku game, and it's the smallest of the 4 main islands. And that's where we are right now. I'm at a hotel in Matsuyama, on the Shikoku Island. So it's a beautiful island. It's a little remote, and which kind of adds to the beauty, I think. But this drive that we had through the island to get to Matsuyama was fantastic. And tomorrow we get to explore a little bit more of it on our way to Hiroshima.
Does that have the cherry blossoms? Is that where that is?
The cherry blossoms are all throughout Japan.
Okay.
But that's at the end of March, beginning of April, depending on what part. Just like in the U.S. when it comes to the fall colors.
Gotcha.
It's like a wave across Japan, depending on the temperatures and
amazing
when those bloom.
Our producer Ryan has said, make sure to ask Chad about our super intense Ultimate Railroads rivalry.
So that's another thing that happened while I was waiting. Is I took the final move in that game, and yes, Ryan did beat me.
Convenient. He wanted to spread that up.
Making sure.
That's embarrassing.
I did not beat them by 100 or more points.
Railroads rivalry? What?
Ultimate. So that's Russian railroads, right?
It was a bit of a disadvantage the first few games because we were playing the Asian boards, and I guess my knowledge of Japan.
I think that's a different game. It's not.
We went to the German. We went to the German board, and yeah.
So Ultimate
Ryan, it was close, but Ryan got me.
Ultimate Railroads is not related to Russian railroads.
So what it is it's like I guess it'd be like a second edition, and so you have Russian railroads as part of it, but you also have German railroads, and you have the Asian railroad. So there's like 3 games in one in the Ultimate, and also when it comes to the technology, you can play it on a shared board, or you can have your own technology.
I know. This is that Russian railroads game. Just for everybody's, I'm sure a lot of people who are into board games remember Russian railroads. I remember it very fondly because it was the first Euro game that Enrique ever played, and I know nobody probably remembers this, but I do. That back, I think it was like 2016, playing Russian railroads with Enrique, and he putting up an insane amount of points that we assumed he was cheating. It was like 400. It was and something. It was very odd game. And I remember I swore I would never play that game again after that because he had never played a Euro game ever. And we just busted out this goofy. You remember that?
Yeah. I think he chose a path to victory that I think supposedly German railroads was supposed to fix.
Well, whatever. He took advantage of the Russians.
Is that what you know of German railroads? Is like it was supposed to fix the weaknesses or whatever of Russian railroads.
If you get the Volvo expansion.
Yeah. So.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I thought that was Swedish.
No, I don't know what Volvos are. That's Volkswagen.
You should have said Volkswagen.
I did, but I wanted to sound more, white, like eggshell white. Get it? Volvo, because they invented like the seatbelt, didn't they? Volvo.
I don't know.
Do you know anybody who drives a Volvo?
I know 2 people
who are, and I guarantee you, Yeah.
Go ahead, Chad.
You know the type of people who drive a Volvo. You know them. Chad, have you ever
my
owned
wife's favorite car.
I know it.
They're safe. They're super safe. They're super safe.
I'm
They're
going to
good
buy a
cars.
Subaru.
Yes, we're going to buy a Subaru.
I'm going to buy a Subaru.
It was cool.
We're going to do it together.
I know. We got off the question.
Volvo Group is a Swedish multinational manufacturing company.
Makes sense. They're Swedish.
I got sauerkraut on my face.
All right. So, Chad, did you have anything to say about what I was asking?
Sorry, Chad.
I've only played Russian Railroads in person once, and I played it a lot on BGA. And I found that Russian Railroads, it becomes a race to get that train that gives you the 9.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever gets that usually wins.
Yeah.
And so I kind of, after a while, especially if you're playing against inexperienced players, to me, the game was broken. When I played it in person, I had the experience from BGA, and I was playing with my friend Jason and someone else. We played it at Gen Con. That's when I played it.
Mm-hmm.
And I tore them up because I had experience and they had none, and I knew what to do. And whereas I find the German railroads fixes that for sure. And I think the Asian railroads fixes that as well. And I think what to go for helped me with that. And the German railroads I'm not familiar with. And Ryan took advantage of me being in Japan trying to play that game.
That happens. That happens.
Just going to put that out there.
You brought shame to your family's name by losing to Ryan.
I did.
Okay.
And then, you know what it means being in Japan.
I know. It was nice knowing you. I purchased an 18xx game. At some point in time, we're going to have to play that. I mean, I got to get Gabi involved in an 18xx game. And
okay, yeah, I have 3 now. I have 1889 Shikoku. I have the I can't remember the years, but Chesapeake. Oh, it doesn't have a year on it. It's Chesapeake Bay. I have that one, and I have the one from the British one, 1862, which is a much more complicated one. So
Chesapeake Bay is supposed to be the beginner, isn't it? The Chesapeake.
Yeah. Chesapeake is a beginner. Also, the Shikoku is recommended beginner as well.
Good.
You may like Shikoku because it's a little more cutthroat than Chesapeake Bay. Chesapeake Bay kind of takes away some of the to take that out of it, and 1889 keeps that depending on the player count. But I'll probably bring one of those to BGG and try to get a game set up.
Any final questions, comments, concerns for the Board Game Snobs? Bubba and Enrique are also here.
I had a question, but I'm afraid it's going to take too much time.
You can shoot out there. We'll answer it as effectively as possible.
Okay, so since I'm in Japan, I figured I'd ask, what is your top 3 Japanese-themed games? And I did top 3 because I figured I know what your number 1 is already.
Number 1 for me is Shogun.
Wait, that's hard to remember because he's like Iki, Yokohama, Shogun. You're not thinking of him yet. Yeah, no, I'm trying to save you. I'm trying to save you.
Jerry just missed. Iki, Yokohama, Shogun.
Yeah, sorry, but yeah. Obviously, Yokohama's going to be number 1. Gabi has a lot.
I figured for Jerry, but Yokohama.
Yeah, and Gabi loves Yokohama. Iki has been a new favorite for Gabi, and I've been Dirk Hen, who made Shogun. Shogun has stayed with us. It's one of the oldest games that we own from Queen Games. It stays. I have a deep love for Shogun. Shogun is one that we don't play enough.
I don't know that we've played a whole lot of that theme, but the top 3 that popped to mind,
yeah. There you go.
So I own Yokohama and Shogun as well. I have yet to play
Iki.
Was it Iki? But I've heard you talk about it, and I've been tempted.
You would really like Iki, I suspect.
Yeah. All right, Chad. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Stay safe, Chad. Tell your son and your daughter. We know you and hi for us.
Yes. All right. I will do that.
Good to see you.
We'll tell them hello.
Yep. Definitely.
Bye.
All right.
We got somebody else coming in. Man, we got a lot of calls.
We've had it just keeps being four.
Good
like
Lord.
we hang up with one.
You got Andrew. Andrew's heading your way now.
Who's Andrew?
Andrew Woods.
That's Andrew the guy. Woods. That's I wonder if that's AA. No, that's not AA Ron. Andrew Woods. Andrew Woods is.
I think he's in Discord.
I feel like I know an Andrew Woods. I say I feel like I know it, but I just recognize the names from BGA.
Andrew, when you're here, just start talking.
Andrew,
okay, there he is.
We know Andrew somewhere, don't we?
Andrew, are you
No,
on,
you don't, unfortunately.
We don't know Andrew.
you're
No,
not
you
on
don't.
Discord or Face Group or nothing?
I am on Discord, though, and on Facebook.
I see.
Just
A
not
Woods.
personally.
I got to see. Yeah, you said got to hop in for a longer podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Andrew, thank you for coming to the show. Any direct comments, questions, concerns for any of us or all of us?
Well, I called in for a quick question of, are there any games that you had an interest in performing a deep dive on? This was spurred on because I had seen even games that were seemingly more simple have some very deep strategy. I saw a file for Space Hulk Death Angel that reached 170 pages.
Yeah.
Which is surprising. Is there anything that you would like to deep dive on?
If I had to pick a game that would be something, of course, Brass is like my favorite game. Spoilers. I often find myself thinking about Brass when I'm trying to compare other games, whether I like them or not, or think of strategy and try to really vocalize exactly what types of strategy that's in this game. Brass always comes to mind because I have such a hard time every time we play it coming to grasp with what I need to do for some reason. I think it's because you're having to bounce off the other players and anticipate what they're going to do, but at the same time, you're restricted with the cards and the money that you're managing, and turn order makes a big difference. And everything that happens in this game is so complex, but yet it makes so much sense. That is a game for which I would find just, I would be incredibly interested to know exactly how that game, and I've heard Martin Wallace talk about it, how that game came to be, but just that, yes. Brass is one that for some reason I have no clue how that game's even balanced out. Like it's fascinating to me, which is why it's my favorite. But deep dives that people do, like I know what he's talking about, where people.
What does he talk about? Is he talking about like review wise or like the different strategies in a game?
If you've ever read a game where a file where on BGG typically be where somebody will have a game that they're just obsessed with, and they'll write like this 3-page thing about Scythe is only balanced and it's unbalanced if you match this board with this board and that type of thing. Like this, like having a game that you would understand and play over and over and over and know all the nuances to, which is not you.
No, I'm not. I don't get on Board Game Geek and I don't read those type of files. But
if you had to,
saying now,
let me rephrase his question for you. If you had to pick a game that you could be the expert on, like you had the whole understanding of it, of the strategies, everything about it, which one would it be?
I was looking through my games here as we discussed that. I will take a game that I recently played that I did not care for, that everyone else seems to love for this reason, and that would be Spirit Island. Because I think has
a very complex game.
Right. And I think it requires that sort of dedication to fully appreciate the nuance of how all these things work together. And I was not able to get that in my one and only play.
And also to take your question and to kind of twist it into something else. What's
your favorite movie?
No, I'm trying to initiate a very, we're trying to get together and do something with a friend of ours who is kind of a newer board game person who is extremely interested in a long campaign game. And I have ISIS Vanguard, and everything I have read about this game, it's 40 to 60 hour campaign, and we're not one to do campaigns. And I would love for this to be the game that we're able to go from start to finish.
Because I love getting into campaigns.
Enrique loves campaigns of that type in video games, and he has shown that he will commit to a board game. I am the same. It's just that one, my schedule, and two, Gobby's attention span tends to wane. And so if there was a game that I wish I could if I could snap my fingers and say, I wish I always had time and effort and ability, that would be probably ISIS Vanguard, be able to do a long campaign. Is there one particularly that you have in mind?
For myself, I have an interest in Mahjong. It's a tile-based game, but you can treat it like a card game that has become quite popular among friends of mine that I know. It's a style of mahjong meets poker,
Mm-hmm.
in which you're trying to complete your hand. But what makes it fascinating is if you discard a tile that is the tile that someone needs to win, you have to pay them the value of their hand.
Really?
So there's a lot of interesting reading, trying to determine what people are going for, and a large depth in how to play.
There are 3 games which are actually the oldest on my shelf of shame that I have never played. It pains me to be on. We're going to cut this part out of the podcast because I don't want anybody to hear this. But I'll just tell you, Go,
about it.
Go, Mahjong, Teach You. Those are the 3 games which I have never played. I desperately want to play, but I, for some reason, cannot get done. Anyways, so yes, I would love to have a deeper understanding, because Go is one of those of which, I mean, supercomputers have difficulty playing that.
Go.
And as an old chess player, those are the exact type of games that I would come to appreciate. But are we having to move along?
Yeah, I think Ryan is 2:30, and we have three left.
Okay, so we're
no problem.
Hey, Woods,
we appreciate you calling.
If you need any mahjong help,
nice to meet you, sir.
I will. We're going to play some mahjong.
There you go.
Yep, you have a good one.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir. Next up is Gavin Dittman NXGR4.
Explain Roblox to me quickly. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
I don't like Roblox anymore. I just play it with friends.
Oh, okay, that's a shame.
It's not a shame. I play Terraria. But I did think of a question. What do you think of video games being turned into board games, such as like Binding of Isaac, and even Terraria is getting one?
Well, like, there are some, like, Binding of Isaac being turned into a board game could work. It's just, I don't know how they would do that.
They're doing Slay at the Spire.
Oh, they did. It's Binding of Isaac 4 Souls.
It's just, it seems odd because Binding of Isaac is just a...
Why are we buying Isaac?
Binding
Isaac.
Isaac.
It's a weird game that I
tying
don't
him
think I
up.
could talk
Yes.
about.
It's weird.
I have it, but yeah, it probably can't talk about it.
So what you're asking is essentially, and so they attempted to do Prison Architect, and that caused a stir, and they stopped it. Which Prison Architect's one of my favorite games of all times. FYI, that should tell you something.
It tells me nothing.
But Slay the Spire is another one that started off as a board game. I mean, started off as a video game. It's obviously a deck building game.
Obviously.
But the way that you have to manage everything, it just works better as a video game. So I do not have a problem with them taking a game that could be a board game, but they go, this is just not the medium. This is not the way we want to present this, and we're going to turn this into a video game and video game it, and it'd be much easier. For instance, have you ever played Inscription?
No.
Stop what you're doing and play Inscription.
Is it a deck builder?
It's a deck builder. Don't look up any reviews, no spoilers, just play Inscription. And that is a prime example of a board game that's turned into a video game. It should have been a board game. Technically, it's a deck builder, but the story that it tells has to be a video game. It has to be a different medium.
If I'm remembering this correctly, it sets you into a log cabin, doesn't it? With some weird.
You don't know nothing about it, but Inscription is it's just play Inscription, and that right there, I think, solidifies my opinion on a board game that's not really a board game, but let's turn into a video game.
Yeah.
I don't know
They
any of
even
these
made
things.
Minecraft into a stupid board game.
It's stupid.
Yeah, that's
stupid.
dumb.
And Minecraft, that's stupid. And if you're playing Minecraft as an adult, you eventually have to play Vintage Story, which is basically Minecraft for adults and for those who like to suffer. And that's what I play.
I've heard of Inscription. I haven't played it though.
Well, I think it might be on sale. Steam sale's still going on until January 4th.
It just recently came on PlayStation.
What a bunch of nerds.
No, look at you, Call of Duty. You play Gobby Camps on Call of
don't
Duty.
Play gun.
NXGS4. What's your yes? Just and play games with your mom.
She loves you.
She loves you.
Yeah.
Word to your mother.
And she feeds you.
Yes, we appreciate you coming on. We got to move on.
Any
to somebody
other
else.
final questions, comments, real quick?
I did like the mega game podcast. I don't remember what it's called. Den of Wolves.
Yeah, of course you did.
The storytelling was great.
You need to tell your mom. You need to come down to BGG. You need to do a mega game.
Are you anywhere near the Dallas area?
No.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
You're near airport?
Near airport. Yes. Please get on a plane and just. Good job.
I don't know how old you are, but you could fly.
You can fly. Yeah, mega games, storytelling. That's something that.
But yeah, listen to that one.
All right, Gavin. Well, thanks for calling in.
Use his street name.
NXGR4.
NXGR4.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Thanks for listening. And play some games with your mom.
She doesn't know he's on.
I think she was in the background.
No.
Oh, she wasn't?
Dee, do you know where your kids are?
You hear him scream, Mom, bring some chicken nuggets.
All right, Gavin. Thanks for calling.
Bring me some Sprite.
Dude, you had to laugh at that. That was funny.
Yeah. Next up, we have Johnny.
Johnny?
Hey.
Johnny
Hello,
who?
can you guys hear me?
Johnny.
We can hear you. Bingeboy.
Is it Johnny with an H?
What's up, Snobs?
Hey, man.
Bingeboy, are you on Discord or Face Group? That's how I know most people. Bingeboy,
I'm on Discord.
You just joined Discord.
I'm new to the Discord.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, straight. That's cool.
The Discord drags in all sorts of people for some reason. I think it's like the middle-aged people do Facebook. Discord's for those that are cooler.
That's right.
Which is why I keep getting locked in.
Are you Are you younger than 30, Johnny?
No, I'm in my mid 40s.
There you go.
right.
So he's a cool middle-aged person who knows how to run Discord. Unlike me. All right, John, do you have any comments, questions, concerns, or a manifesto for which you would like to read?
I just noticed Discord was that you guys were doing this today, so I just called in. I don't really have any questions. Are you guys familiar with Molly House, the game that's coming out soon, I think?
Molly House. That sounds like, is that like a place you go to get roofied?
Yeah.
Molly House.
Yeah, kind of.
It's a condom.
It's a frat boy game, Molly House. Let's see.
Wow,
it's a party game.
I think you're a deviant in 18th century London.
Yes.
Wow.
Is Molly House the one that what's his face? Cole Worley's doing? Is it Cole?
Yeah.
Yes.
The guy that did John Company, second edition.
Yes, I've seen this advertised. Players take 18th century London. They throw masquerade parties and all that. Yes. I seen this was heavily advertised and was looking at it. And Cole Worley and I have a back and forth love-hate relationship with his board games. Some of them I just absolutely love, and some of them fall flat for me.
I was hoping this was Ringwald related.
Molly Ring. Oh, that's deep.
No, sir.
Bingeboy, are you a new listener, a long-time listener, a medium listener?
A medium listener?
I probably like around COVID, I started listening, and I didn't even really play board games at the time. So
wait a minute. I have a question. How did you find this podcast if you didn't play board games? What brought you to this podcast?
I think I wanted to play board games, but I didn't have anyone to play them with, and I just used like the podcast app on my phone and found you guys. And I like the logo. It seemed I like the banter.
Say it again. The logo.
You guys are definitely my favorite board game podcast.
The logo's awesome.
Well, we appreciate that.
And so,
he's new to the Discord.
Do you
Jerry is in the Discord, and he wants everybody to go to the Discord, and then he never comments.
Anyways, do you solo game? Do you have a group now?
So what there's like one other person I'll play games with, and then what I've been doing a lot with like to play like longer games or things that I can't play with one other person. I'll go on Tabletop Simulator, and I joined their Discord, and then I started joining more board game Discords. So I was like, oh, I'll join the Snobs group, and I don't know. Through that, it's pretty active community.
Yeah, it is. If you can tolerate that, and I say tolerate, but that tabletop simulator is pretty good. Some people do not like that, but
I do not like
I find it's fine. Yeah, it's different, but still.
I like the bookkeeping that BGA does for you. It just simplifies everything so much, and it can help you learn the game. And I've actually learned things that I've been doing wrong in the games we've played because the game BGA won't allow you to do it.
Yeah, you've been cheating.
I've been cheating. I didn't even know it.
Well, that's great.
Well, yeah, I'll try BGA. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, get on there because we're always doing tournaments. It seems like someone's always starting a tournament with that Can't Stop.
Mostly Can't Stop.
But Can't Stop is a good tournament.
We have a relatively
turn-based.
small board game group in that the board game snobs group, but we like to play Beyond the Sun.
Wonderful World. I played that
Wonderful
way too
World.
much. Currently ranked like 400 and something out of 2 million people.
Yes, you're very good.
I'm not that good. It upsets me when somebody beats me at Wonderful World. I've taken too much pride in it.
What is your favorite game as of this moment, or do you have one?
I've been playing. I like playing John Company, and I'd say that's my number one. I've been trying to play Voidfall too, which I mean, those are more like the.
Where are you playing
stuff I
John
play
Company?
online.
You playing that online?
John Company, I go onto. I played in Tabletop Simulator on whatever that whoever the publisher is for that game. They have like their own Discord.
I'm gonna have to do that.
There's a pretty active group in there.
I'm gonna have to do some John Company online. I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet because Gavi will never probably ever play that with me again because I loved John Company.
Speaking of deep dives into a board game, that can be done.
I know you missed it, and
Enrique wasn't there.
You were not in company. No, it was Frankie.
Frankie, that's right.
I wasn't here.
Yeah.
Good grief.
I was saddened.
That was an interesting game. It's just not my stuff.
I want to get on there because I really like John Company. And Voidfall is on the list. I want to play Voidfall and Evacuation.
I want to play Evacuation.
And Evacuation's coming, but Voidfall's another one.
Try to play Evacuation?
We read the rule book on Evacuation and we had to leave, but I'm pretty set that I'm probably going to like Evacuation, even though it makes me think of evacuating your bowels.
Exactly.
But anyways, Johnny, we appreciate you. Is he on? We got one more?
Yeah, we got one more.
Okay.
Any final comments before you go?
Guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, sir. Good to meet you.
I want to say I love Enrique's God rolls in the Den of Wolves.
Oh my God! There is. I didn't get to witness the actual rolls. I just saw the people's reaction and his reaction, and that was worth seeing. We're gonna get a camera guy or somebody to follow us next time we do this because somebody has to witness this.
That'd be great.
All right. Well, thank you for calling.
All right,
in.
sounds good, guys. Thank you.
All righty.
Happy New Year.
Y'all
Take care.
Bye-bye.
We got one more. Then we got one more.
One more, and I believe they were last on our last episode.
Who?
Eric and Lindsay.
Are you kidding me?
Hello?
Hello?
It's tradition at this point.
Eric and Lindsay?
Eric and Lindsay have the floor.
Who am I talking to?
This is Gavi.
This is Jerry.
This is Enrique.
And Bubba.
Bubba.
I like how you said that. So I appreciate your exclamation.
All right.
The elusive Bubba.
Bubba is here. If you have any questions like where has he been? Why has he not been podcasting?
It's my annual show today. And for your benefit, sir, because you called in. So thank you so much.
Yay, Bubba!
Eric and Lindsay were in the local Oklahoma area.
Are y'all still in Durant at this moment?
Oh, yeah. I remember this. Yeah.
Oh.
No, thank goodness.
Yes. I had to leave. Yes.
Did you go to the casino while you were there?
No, we just helped my dad move.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
a lot less fun than that.
Okay. Where did you guys go back to?
We live in southern Missouri.
They're in the,
Oh,
they're
that's
in the
completely
hills.
different.
They're in the woods.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Missouri,
Right
the
there.
show me state.
Missouri is like the beautified
Ozarks.
Yeah, it's the beautified Oklahoma. So yeah, that makes sense.
You get Missouri, Arkansas, that area of the Ozarks.
That's cool.
People go missing.
Missouri's north of Mississippi, right?
No, Missouri's
Arkansas.
Northwest of Oklahoma.
Oh my God.
Bobby,
I need a map.
You can't be south of Mississippi.
Yeah, Mississippi is an ocean.
I like how she said it as like a very simplified, like everybody knows fact.
I live in I live just south of Louisiana.
Well,
the sun comes up.
I meant directly north as the crow flies.
Yes. Well, technically, I guess
She did that well.
Technically, maybe.
But there's Arkansas, and then is Missouri above Arkansas?
Yes, it is.
Like, my God,
Yeah.
I need a United States map in front of me right
God,
now.
you're making Americans look so stupid.
Oh, it's bad.
not bad that we're just up there. You can drive to it.
Geographically above.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, it's terrible.
But, I mean, I guess if the Earth is flat, then
Which we're not
better
sure
not.
about it
That's
anymore.
true.
Enrique might be a flat earther now. He's been watching a lot of TikTok.
It's debatable.
What?
So Eric and Lindsay, are y'all still gamers?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And y'all are still living out in the woods, communing with the wildlife and the earth.
It's the best way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Best
Yeah.
way to play board
Yes, the
games.
way to be.
There was one post by Eric recently I was especially appreciative of, in which I admired Eric's silhouette, let me say.
Are you following him on Instagram?
Silhouette.
You mean the one where we were dancing naked around?
Yes, yes.
Don't need
yes.
to know about that. Don't need to know about that.
Bubba, let me explain grounding to you. You know about grounding?
Grounding like water grounding or sound grounding.
No, grounding with your feet
You
in the
go
grass.
outside, you stand on the earth.
Like rooting
Okay,
yourself
so,
into the
okay,
earth.
let me-
Grounding, like
let me-
being one with nature.
Let me
Yes.
pause you for a moment. Because I'm Jerry knows all about it because he's more into this than I myself am.
I
But
like the ground.
My wife and Sade, we recently, when I say recently, not, it doesn't matter, but we were trying to get healthy. And so my wife and Sade are outside, barefoot, feet in the grass. I'm like, and they're like rubbing their feet. Like, I'm like, what are y'all doing? Grounding. I'm like, what is that? There's like magnetic things that go on between.
No.
It's a thing. Once you get into like natural things and things that you got to kind of open your mind into what the earth can do for you. Does that make sense, Eric and Lindsay?
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
I mean, now let me correct. I'm not correcting. Let me correct myself. First of all, saying I shouldn't have said no. Let me ask this question. When you mean the earth and what it provides for you, which is everything right now, you mean it in a different way?
Like, yeah, like more than meets the eye.
I'm confused.
Okay. So,
Okay, go ahead. Well, hold on. Let's let Eric and Lindsay.
Well, I thought Eric and Lindsay would chime in here because I help me.
I think it's supposed to have something to do with like the ions and electrical stuff. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I could see there being something to it.
Okay.
I guess if you think about it, if you go outside and you stand just with your shoes and your socks on,
Mhm.
and then if you go outside and it's a nice day, like you don't have to deal with like cold weather or chiggers or other bugs that will bite you or anything like that. It's just pleasant. And then if you go outside and you stand with your bare feet on the ground, does that feel better to you?
Okay.
Do you go outside barefooted, Bubba?
Well, no, but I will say I think I understand the concept.
Yes.
Of feeling grounded and feeling stable and going in a place that is psychologically proactive for your to expand your reality.
Right. The theory of
I can
grounding, though,
understand
is actually, if I'm not mistaken, is that there is various electrical currents and things of that nature in connection with the earth, the way you want to talk about gravitational pull, whatever.
Yeah. Energy
that when
side,
you
some-
go outside and you stand, it resets that or has something to do with not only your immune system, antioxidants, whole nine yards. Like you're
Everything.
actually able to maybe absorb something from the fact that you are. And I do think there is a theory of that yes, just standing somewhere and absorbing something through your skin, because your skin is your largest organ, like your integumentary system of things you take in, which is why that whole theory of that, like I think that to me makes more sense simply because I've always been the one like you don't want chemicals on your body and type thing, like using soap.
It says,
Some would say, you smoke weed for the same effect, but I get it.
But that's from the ground.
That's true. That's what I meant.
Maybe that's what you thought when you said ground.
It's also called earthing.
Earthing
refers to the discovery that bodily contact with Earth's natural electrical charge stabilizes the physiology at the deepest levels, reduces inflammation, pain, stress, improves blood flow, energy and sleep, and generates greater well-being.
But I would argue that just being outside does that.
I will
anyways.
say this. I will say that sometimes the way I may have some incredulity. It's because one of the things that we do in my work is like I understand the permittivity of the ground and how that affects different things.
I don't know what you just said.
Things that pass through.
How the electroconductivity of the ground.
Okay.
And how it affects certain things, and then how that's vitally important when you're engineering.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, it's very difficult to. I understand. Like I said, I understand it. I'm looking at it, I guess, from a certain
Your
perspective.
job is to disrupt the continuity of the earth out there.
Yeah,
we
go into the ground all the time. But I get the concept very well.
To refer back,
it makes sense.
To refer back what Gabby was saying. Oh, go ahead, Eric.
It feels real good.
Yeah, it feels good.
Like mostly we usually have our feet under wraps. You know, like you got socks on, shoes on, and I think like, you know, and we walk on concrete or like, you know, artificial floors and stuff, and so like it. I think just the feeling of being like barefoot in grass is kind of exhilarating.
My wife loves it. She thinks it's the best thing in the world.
It's like going to the beach and walking barefoot.
Yeah, walking barefoot.
Which is for some reason is the only appropriate place for you to be barefoot outside for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I mean, our feet are really sensitive, but then we like keep them wrapped up to where they don't feel anything.
I would say there's a psychological imperative here whereas the feet and the shoes upon which we wear our feet and our socks really is our societary bounds, and so when we release those bounds, we feel free.
Do you wear socks in your house?
Yes.
I wear socks nonstop.
I don't. When I get home, I take my sock. I am barefoot because I was raised in the woods, and I went out like we didn't have Crocs and sandals. We walked outside barefoot.
Yeah.
You had shoes,
as a child.
No, I did.
As a child,
we didn't walk. I didn't. We rarely. We wore shoes.
Did not have shoes.
We wore shoes when we went to town. If I walked down my, like
He sounds like Little House on the Prairie.
No.
Oh,
typically,
time to put on your going to town shoes.
No. The thing is, and I think that you're living in a bubble that most people in the country
true.
Do not wear shoes.
My wife didn't wear shoes.
You do not wear shoes outside.
Not had.
So you have never walked outside barefoot.
I mean, I have recently, yes. But growing up, no. Growing up, I was.
So I want you to understand that up until 50 years ago, that was not the norm. That was incredibly weird for you to wear shoes.
You're saying this so aggressive.
Yes,
to me.
because you're laughing at something that for the past.
I'm not. No.
Yes.
You're taking it as an offense. I just thought it was unusual.
I'm saying is that you're unusual, and that you're looking at something that's like, I can't believe people do this. Roman soldiers wore sandals and marched barefooted across half of Italy.
Everywhere I went barefoot as a child, I was told you're going to get ringworm. That's how I grew up.
Well, nobody.
Well, I will. To Gabi's point.
Thank you.
I grew up like 12 up, always shoes on. That's why I
was a city
it.
guy.
But my wife
in the town.
My wife. No shoes. My nephew, he's 11 now. He walks around barefooted with his shirt off, with his underwear on. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And still does it.
But Sade,
that's the way it is.
Sade,
she don't count.
No shoes. No socks.
Don't count.
But she grew up in town.
Don't count.
It doesn't matter.
She does not count.
It doesn't matter. My point is that this whole idea of this is like
she was really
shoes.
Went off on a
I'm just saying is that there is tons of this stuff that people look at later and go, this seems odd. But I think, like, just to point out about your recent thing, like you act like here just recently you talked about going outside, getting sun on your face when you first wake up in terms of melatonin.
Dr. Huberman.
Dr. Huberman, which was something I've been telling you for years.
Never heard you say those words.
Yes, when you wake up, you should go outside almost immediately. The first, everybody.
I've never heard Jerry say those words. Suddenly he takes credit for it.
No,
I don't know. I have no comment.
Have you done any cold plunging?
Yes, that's helpful. That is therapeutic. Yes.
I have not done any cold plunging.
That stuff is great.
My friend, I have done the cold showers because that's all I have available to me at the moment.
With your shoes on.
With my flip flops in the shower.
He has hot water, right?
My friend Deej of Disagreeable Nerd and 2 role playing games on this podcast, he bought one of those cold pod things.
Yeah.
He has done it. I went over there to do it one day. We put ice in it, but then we ended up like getting distracted. And by the time we got to the water, it was warm again. So it didn't work. But I don't want to do it because when I turn the cold water on now in the shower in the wintertime, it is extremely painful and cold.
That's what it's supposed to be.
And I know that's what it's supposed to be. But I plan on doing it. And okay, so this is all things I'm very interested in as Dr. Huberman discusses.
Huberman.
He discusses cold plunging, being very natural. He's also very anti-alcohol, which is my big hang up with Dr. Huberman. Eric and Lindsay, do you imbibe in alcoholic drinks?
Not really. Eric, I don't think he's ever been drunk, but not because we're like drinking or religious or anything. It's just he just never got into it. And
unhealthy.
I don't really.
It is
drink
unhealthy.
anymore.
It's quite. I will say.
I mean, I'm the same. I drink, but I've never been drunk before.
It's a carcinogen, so I guess I just like prefer to stay away
Right.
from it.
It is. We here at the Board Game Snobs do not condone drinking.
I like that we had to make a statement to be done.
I understand how terrible it is for you, and
Your sponsors are going to be upset.
Eric has met you.
No, I mean there are health benefits to drinking.
No, there's not.
No,
That's all. That's,
there actually are.
That's big alcohol.
No, that's not big. Are you serious?
Wine. There is some.
Okay, it can ease your stomach.
But with the cold plunges and all that, I was doing that back before it was cool.
Here we go, Dr. Huber.
Because we did it on fire department.
Well, can I ask you this question before we get to,
cold shock protein?
I think here's the thing that I always I find interesting. If you are a person who is conscientious enough to go outside with bare feet because it makes you feel good and it reconnects you with energy, so forth and so on, you are doing something that by definition is healthy for you.
Right.
It makes you feel better. It has all these residual effects. Most likely you're a person who also is conscientious about other things health-wise.
Right.
If you're a person who cold plunges, it puts you into this space. If you cold plunge, most likely you're starting to be concerned with other areas of your life, which then makes you healthy. I think this is one of those causation scenarios where people go, I do this thing. And it has all these benefits for me. Well, yes, because one thing causes you to be healthy in all these other areas.
Well,
but it's not just that one thing. That's just me kicking it off.
One of the big things my Dr. Huberman is talking about
He's not your doctor.
My doctor. Have you paid him money?
is he talks about the
Sponsored by Dr. Huber.
That's right. Sponsor that.
He talks about the effects of dopamine and dopamine seeking, and he's very anti-alcohol in himself, even though he says I will drink. But he talks about how when we start drinking alcohol and we get that feeling that alcohol provides, how narrow our focus becomes, and basically like you just seek the dopamine hit that alcohol provides, which is of course a negative effect. Like you no longer enjoy things of anything else except for alcohol. Whereas he talks about the effects of more natural things like cold plunging can provide you a dopamine hit that it provides you this hit that lasts way longer.
Yeah.
You feel better than anything alcohol can do for you because, or drugs, because those are very quick.
That far.
They're very intense. They're very quick, but they don't last anything.
See, I guess I would agree with that, other than the fact that alcohol lasts as long as you drink it. If you drink it in
no, in fact, it does not, though.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
Alcohol at some point in time, it makes your brain.
The cortisol levels drop and everything just crashes very quickly.
So, okay, I would have to look at that.
And it depletes your thiamine.
Yeah. I mean, so I said for clarity, you're saying so that if a person who hardly drinks, has 2 drinks, but he spreads those drinks out over 3 hours, and he gets the same chemical uptick that alcohol produces, that somehow I'm going to go on a negative curve eventually in that 2-hour window?
I wouldn't say in that 2-hour window, but if you're utilizing alcohol to increase, to have a feeling, to get a dopamine surge, you will bottom out.
So really it's a motivation why you drink. Because for me, I don't drink for the effect of alcohol. That's why I don't drink a lot of it. I drink it because there's nothing that tastes like alcohol.
Right.
It's no different than me going to a store and getting a Coke Vanilla. I mean, there's nothing like that. So if I drink a certain type of bourbon, that's why I'm very particular about what I drink or the taste of it, because that's why I'm drinking it. I don't think I've ever, besides like one time, which is somebody over serving me, like
it's their fault.
Sorry.
No. It was like I got an old fashioned that was all alcohol, and then 3 sips in, it was like, wait a minute, I haven't eaten anything.
Well,
this is weird.
Typically,
but that's not my typical experience.
What you're talking about, I mean, typically most people would say the buzz.
Yeah, and I don't have a buzz.
But that's the dopamine hit where you start like, oh, you're feeling warm, you're feeling fuzzy.
Yeah, I don't like the buzz. Good. That's a weird feeling. I don't like that one time that happened. No, I don't like that feeling. It's like I'm out of control. I don't like that.
But that's such a fine line because
which is why you should try grounding and rectal sunning.
But what doesn't happen?
But I will try it. I will go home today and I will try with my feet in the ground just to experience it.
I don't think to be
think this
honest,
will be neat.
from a scientific standpoint of the evidence, I haven't seen a lot of evidence that says that it works. But I think psychologically, just being outside, yes,
like
you go
magnets
outside with
don't
your
help
dog,
you.
you go outside with your dog and sit. I mean, like, I think that there is something to that.
Yes,
Well,
I agree.
If you look at Eric and Lindsay, if you look at their Instagram, what's your do y'all have a public Instagram you want people to follow?
Yeah, I think they're all public.
Yeah, I mean, mine is now really our Airbnb treehouse. But,
you have a treehouse?
Yeah.
Oh, that's legit.
Is that the Hello Inwood?
Hello, Linwood. Yeah.
Oh,
And
Linwood.
Linwood, that's right.
LINWOOD. But I think, like, overall, as you start to incorporate more healthy habits, you find that, like, there's nothing that compares to like a good night's sleep or like being hydrated all day or
that's true.
Eating, like, if you eat healthy versus just having these spikes of sugar, like, you just feel more good. You feel better, and you feel better for longer. And so I think if you can start doing something simple that you enjoy, that's healthy, and build on it, it's a lot easier because you feel the benefit, and it feels so much better than feeling exhausted, feeling brain foggy or whatever, like, your feel bad symptoms are.
Yeah.
And cold plunging is awful. Like, it feels terrible in the moment, but it's the after.
Yeah.
And it's like exhilarating and helps you focus. And I don't know, it just makes you feel really alive.
It does. I like.
Well, there's something about the cold plunging that my Dr. Huberman says.
He's not your doctor.
It relates to the fact that, and this is not just him, but many people that are into this whole psychology of the physiology, blah, 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 that you're uncomfortable. Like, being this uncomfortable, you're looking forward to not being uncomfortable. And that's what makes you feel good when you're suddenly no longer that uncomfortable again. And that just lasts.
Well, it teaches you to tolerate being uncomfortable, so you're not such a wuss.
Right.
I think that stress can be good in
positive stress.
So, like, exercise is a type of stress.
This type of stress.
Heat and cold are stresses on your body, but if you're not doing, prolonged amounts of this, then it's actually kind of like a good stimulus for your body.
Yes.
I'm taking my socks off right now.
I don't sorry, I apologize.
Please don't.
Bubba's downloading Instagram.
What's the Instagram account? I'm sorry.
Bubba's getting on IG right now. It's Linwood. What was it?
I always remember it for some reason, Hello Inwood.
Hello, Linwood. But really, I mean, Eric's is like Rice_Gonzalez with 2 G's. I think his is, because I've deleted a lot of our personal posts off there now since it's more like business. But I mean, there's some stuff on there.
Have y'all had any success with your treehouse?
Yeah, it's been great. We were like booked every weekend. Nice. We didn't really have to promote much. It was really easy.
Yeah. It's on Instagram as well?
We'll show you here shortly.
Okay, I'll find it.
So they built a tree house, but there's no electricity or indoor plumbing.
No outlets.
I can make that work. Make that work.
You just do it.
You're just there. So do y'all provide
camping?
You provide a outhouse, right?
Yep. We provide water and like a cooktop, like a gas camp stove. And like just like 3 gallons of drinking water, filtered drinking water. And then we have a bunch of battery powered lanterns.
It's really focused on people who are trying to get out of the city and be like in nature for a little while. It's kind of like the people we're like aiming for and stuff. So
I know it may have sounded like in the beginning though. I'm not like a nature person, but my wife and I, we love stuff like that. It's very healthy for you.
Good.
Have you had anyone show up that was not prepared for what you offered?
They asked for the Wi-Fi password.
I think we tried to
we try to be upfront with what we are. Yeah.
And if there was going to be like bad weather, I would just be like, hey, are you sure you want to come? It's cold or it's hot. But I mean, we had really great reviews and people just loved it. So that was really great because
we weren't sure what to expect. So
yeah. And then we were going to rent out the sauna. So we built a wood-fired sauna. And then we rented it to one couple, and I was just so nervous the whole time.
We hadn't even really used it yet, so we were just trying to get familiar with it.
They go inside and they just cook themselves.
Well, Masana is my next project because sauna, like,
yeah, you want to win, right?
Yes, I actually
From one extreme to the other.
Well, I didn't want to. Yeah, you do, because you got your heat shot proteins, but I didn't like the infrared saunas. I was looking for something else. But basically, being in a sauna like 180 degrees for 20 minutes is equivalent to like a cardiovascular workout. Like they've done studies on like older people in terms of their cardiovascular health, just sitting in there for 20 minutes.
I like my Jerry medium rare.
Basically.
It's one of the things that made the Roman Empire the Roman Empire.
Yeah, because they saunaed, and then they're like, when they sit around the sauna, their pores would open and their mind would open, and they'd be like, those Gauls, we need to go up there and show them. What about those Britons?
Yeah.
And they just went, and Scythians, and they just did that because they got hot. And they're like, we're done with this.
I don't know where we were going with all this, but it's been very fascinating.
You're the last caller. We got to let Ryan go. We're over time.
Yeah, we're done. We're done. But after Eric and Lindsay. But Eric and Lindsay, do y'all have any questions, comments, concerns before we let you go?
Bubba, what are you reading right now?
I am reading a book that Jerry has told me I need to read called, which is not I know. So I don't normally read these types of books, but it is called Addicted to Drama. Came in a few days ago. It is written by a guy, psychologist. It's pretty nice psychologist guy, but it's called Addicted to Drama. Helps you discern certain things. Before reading that, I was reading, let's see. I was reading Fitzgerald. I love him. I got into a poetry kick here lately, so I've been getting back into that, which just a lot of interesting people there. And let's see, my other big guy that I was reading. Wow, I can't believe I forgot. Wow, Jerry, I can't believe I forgot. That's a very good question.
I've been reading Nancy Drew.
Very good question.
Mysterious Staircase has really got me going.
I will say I have recently acquired like 10 or 12 books that's on my shelf. And I go through I don't get to read like I used to, so I'll go to are you a reader?
Hit and miss. We read a lot of nonfiction.
Nonfiction is great. Have you ever read nonfiction? Have you ever read, you know what? You're going to have to send an email and I might email you back because this is a very engaging conversation to me. And once I start on books, I do not stop. Yeah. As I lay dying, I've been rereading that. I hadn't read that in many, many years. Actually, it's the first time in my life I'm rereading a book. Andersonville, I'm rereading that.
Yeah, I know you like Andersonville.
Yeah, it's a book about Civil War. I hadn't read that one in quite some time. So I'm rereading that for the first time. And, yeah, I don't know what I got on my toilet either.
I know you have books on your toilet. Yeah. I'm doing the Napoleon biography.
Are you serious?
Which I'm rereading because
the movie coming out.
Well, no, I listened to a podcast about it, and I'd always liked that. I always wanted to read his biography.
Yeah,
and so I'm rereading that, which drives me insane.
That's good. If I may ask, since you read nonfiction, what is your favorite one? I'll pick it up.
I guess I wouldn't call this one nonfiction, but I think my favorite book is called Ishmael by Daniel Quinn.
Yep. I hadn't read it, but I know what it is.
But we read a lot of nonfiction about, I guess.
I feel like I haven't read a lot recently.
Is that about the guy that hunted Moby Dick?
No.
But good one, though. Good guess.
His autobiography. All right.
Yeah, I don't know. We read a lot about like gardening or homesteading or just more like learning how to do things.
Well, now
the backyard farm.
Yeah, you may not. So there is, and I know we have to go, but she started in it. So, I have recently, like the past year, I've realized that I need to learn new skills. And one of those things that I've been realizing is gardening, which I understood gardening can be complex. So I've been reading a lot of books on gardening.
Jerry Baker is the master gardener.
Hose.
I had a book by Jerry Baker about perennials.
Did you really? I used to get letters all the time because his books and letters he would send for advertising was from Jerry Baker to, and then your name and address. So it was always from Jerry Baker to Jerry Baker. But Jerry Baker, the master gardener, was a well-known.
I think getting your hands in the dirt would have the same effect as grounding.
Well, it does, but I was getting into that aquaculture, doing stuff in water, growing things in water, building sheds. I'm going to do some off-grid stuff. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to it. So yeah, I've gotten into a lot of books, some old ones and some new ones. I'm downloading books from the library, which I hadn't done in years. That were like the old guides on the way people used to do things. So yeah, this is very educational. So yeah,
cool.
You're good people. You can tell people by the books they read.
He's got a thing for Dracula.
Now wait a minute. Are we talking about the classic Dracula?
He reads Twilight.
I mean, what are we reading here?
No, I read the classic once, and Lindsay, she picked it up and like opened it to a random page, and just made fun of me for what you read. So I don't even remember what it was. It was
I was joking with him that it was like softcore porn, and then I flipped to this page and it was talking about an erection or something. I was like,
see. So yeah, when you write a book pre-1900s, you can do that. It's okay. Yeah.
Eric and Lindsay, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. Talk to you once more.
Yes. This concludes our Collin episode.
That's cool.
Board Game Snobs Collin episode number 2.
I gotta do it.
Hold on a second. Hold on. You're going to conclude without even talking to me?
Oh, you didn't get Ryan.
Wow.
I'm trying to hurry up and get off here before Ryan.
It's the one guy.
How rude,
Could you have a microphone, Ryan?
Ryan's been DJing for you.
We'll let you close out.
Like, I have bullet points listed for things to talk to you guys about. Like, I was going to tell you about the conversation I had with my kids about doing resolutions this year. But I don't think they were listening either. I'm pretty sure everything I said just went in one year and out the other.
What do they want to? What do you have planned for them? Their resolutions.
Never mind. I think Jerry missed it.
I missed it.
Everything I said to him went in one year and out the other.
One year.
One year and out the other. That was good.
My God.
That was good. It's the microphone's fault. That was excellent, sir. Excellent.
Ryan's a fan of the cornball jokes as well.
That's not.
That's good.
That's
Ryan,
not
all day.
well at all.
Do you have any comments, questions, concerns you wish to address to us before we close out this podcast?
All right. Yes. Have you guys played Blow and Clock Tower yet?
We have not.
Okay, that needs to be the next group game you play. It's fantastic. It is more than just Werewolf on steroids, like a lot of people describe it as. It's phenomenal, especially if you have a good moderator. So you guys ought to make a plan to come down to one of our game nights down here and let Jeff with the G run a game for us and play with us. It's phenomenal, and it's just been amazing.
G is engaged now, isn't he?
Yes, he got engaged at our board game Christmas party. In fact, it was pretty awesome.
Jeff finally asked Rachel or Tiffany, I can't remember her name, to marry him finally after stringing her along.
So she said yes.
I assume so.
And then other thing, you guys remember a game from 2013 called Lewis and Clark Expedition?
Yes, I have it.
Or Expedition. Okay.
Yes.
So I played that a couple times on BGA. Finally broke it out live and in person with some friends of ours, my wife and I, and a couple of our friends. And especially with the publicity that Lost Ruins of Arnak and Dune Imperium have gotten over the last couple of years, it is unfair that this game does not get more respect, because it was the original combination of deck building, worker placement, Euro with resource gathering and stuff like that. I don't know how this game is. It's in the top 250 or whatever, but it's criminally underrated to me.
It holds a special place in my heart because it is one of the few games for which I purchased back when it first came out. I think I tried to solo it and shelved it, sold it, and recently repurchased it because I was not ready for it back in the day. Yes, it is criminally underrated. It's an excellent racing game, kind of managing your resources. And yes, it does everything well. And it gets
and the dual use cards.
Yes, it's amazing. It's an excellent game, but it's one of those games that gets it is very much overlooked, and nobody. I mean, you'll see it bought and sold at the virtual flea market all the time, and nobody realizing what it is. But yes, it's Lewis and Clark. There's even a dice version of it that I haven't played yet. But yes, it's an amazing game, and one of the few games for which I have sold and repurchased. Rarely do I regret something enough that I will go back and get it again, but I have it again. Gabby's looking at me weird.
Well, I just wonder, we have never played it. I'm supposing you played it solo or something?
Yes, I played it solo. And yes, it's wonderful.
It's a racing game, right?
It's sort of kind of a racing game, yes. But it's more,
Yes, but it's 100% a racing game, I think, because you're trying to be the first. So it's a reimagining of, instead of Jefferson just sending Lewis and Clark on the expedition to explore the Louisiana Territory, he sent multiple expeditions. And so the expeditions are racing to be the first one to get from St. Louis, where everybody starts, to the Oregon coast. And it's about resource management. But what's cool is, and I didn't know this until I actually opened up the live version in the box, is that it comes with little chips that allow you to change the geography of the map so that it doesn't have to be that same base mode every time. It can be it can change up.
Yeah, you can change the map of it. It's very neat. It's very neat. And it's one that, like, when it came out, it was the hot stuff for a brief minute and then fell off. But yeah, it's criminally
that
underrated.
way preceded my moving from Monopoly and Scrabble into the hobby scene in like 2018. So I missed it and accidentally discovered it on BGA a couple years ago. And then finally, like I said, got to play it live and it's even better. Yeah. It's one of the few Euro games that I like better live than I like it on BGA. But
yep, I still got it. I repurchased it, and it is a wonderful game. And it's one that's on the list. I need to play with Gabi because if I had to lay a bet of whether or not Gabi would like a game, like, I'm pretty good at being able to judge. Enrique will like this game. Gabi will like this game. This is one that I think would be a hit with us. I am pre-approving this board game. Snobs approved. I'm that confident in it because in the artwork, O'Toole, isn't it? I can't remember who the artwork is on it. It's somebody.
I have it sitting right here. Let me look. The artwork is Vincent Dutrait.
Vincent Dutrait. Now, Vincent Dutrait does some wonderful artwork. Famously, he was the one that did the reimagined box cover for Robinson Crusoe, the Portal Edition. So Vincent Dutrait I say Peter O'Toole, Ian O'Toole, Vincent Dutrait.
Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah, there you go. Those are my guys. And Beth Sobel. Anyway, Ryan, we really appreciate you doing all this for us. We didn't mean to tie you up on New Year's.
I'm happy to have done it.
Like this is I know your wife's tired from babysitting, from sleeping children, putting babies in chokeholds and making them sleep through the night.
She's asking me what game we're playing as soon as I get done here, which is, when she's asking to play a game, that's a good sign.
That's a good sign.
We're trying to figure out what to set up. I'm glad I could be a part of it and glad I could help you guys out. And it went really well. I think we ended up having like 14 or 15 people calling. So
it's very nice.
You guys are getting more popular by the day.
It's nice to be able to have them. Like last time, they just got a busy signal, or we would have to call them back and stuff. So this was, I don't know, maybe I'm curious if it was just as accessible. Apparently it was, because we had more people call in. And this is like, we're going on 3 hours now.
I know. This is
I'm
this
exhausted.
episode up.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
There was about an hour in there where a party broke out in the lobby, and a bunch of people were playing games live together on BGA while waiting.
There you go. There you go.
Very nice. Well, Ryan, thank you very much, sir. We appreciate your services and your listening and everything else you have provided for us over the past few years.
Yes, legit.
The bowling.
My pleasure. Hope you guys have a great new year. And keep up the good work.
We certainly will.
And bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Let me close this out.
Save
officially.
It. For God's sake, save it.
There's nothing to. I'm just closing out the thing.
Guys, we didn't get none of that.
I didn't record.
He's recording on his end.
I lost my mind. I didn't record.
Okay, so that's going to do it for this episode of the Board Game Snobs annual call-in show number 2. I'm Gabi.
It's Jerry.
Hey, it's Bubba.
Thank you for tolerating this episode of the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy. Thank you.